Greetings and welcome to the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest, the online live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones that helps raise money for rotating community charities. I'm your host and Dungeon Master. And this is just a quick introduction to episode 18 of our open beta development process. Join us in this episode as our contestants are halfway through a boss battle that might end in them earning a $500 cash prize. You'll have to see who lives and who dies over the course of the evening and who goes home with a precious stone. But it is an all-out battle for survival as our contestants struggle to keep themselves alive under the vicious onslaught of the Naga and her many great swords working in unholy precision to tear apart their puny mortal bodies and leave them strewn across the steps that lead to the very entrance of the dungeon that they had sought.
Bring on your goblin holes and band of oaks, hulking zombies and kabobs, and no troll, don't slow me down, no. Don't dig up vicious, awesome, many possibilities. When I swing, I'm a clap won't be a thing. Go again, every time, my friend, the outcome's always the same.
And we are live again on this somewhat gray and foggy Tuesday evening. Welcome everyone to the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest, the online, live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones that helps raise money for rotating community charities. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, and this is episode 18 of our open beta development process. Join us this evening as our contestants find themselves in the middle of the first of what will be many surely epic boss fights. Having disturbed great powers that were locked in a struggle that can only be described as godly in proportion, their disciples have been left behind to tussle over the remains of this doorway to some forbidden subterranean fortress. Our players wanting to see whether or not the goddess Slurgia and her defiled disciples would triumph, or whether or not this crackling extra-dimensional energy creature and its summoned helpers would be the ones to triumph at this time. A Naga and a succubus squared off against, respectively, a rather gross-looking priest and a towering flesh abomination. Having rolled an encounter roll to see which one of these bosses our party would be squaring off with, one, both, or maybe the priest or the abomination, or what would have you, it seems our party has fallen, perhaps ill of luck, perhaps fortunate, we will see tonight as they square off against this Naga. An offbreed of the Merilith and Nagas that have dwelled too long in the hells and the abyssal plains. They are on the precipice tonight of winning the second of major cash prizes in So You Think You Can Quest's main story arc, as all they need do is step foot inside that dungeon in order to claim the $500 prize. I'm also happy to announce that as we get into this, next 30-day cycle of quest, as well as what is now the 90-day period, I guess, of our launch, we are going to start upping the daily, not the daily, but the quest prizes, so that after tonight, you will watch that $500 prize go up just a little bit just a couple dollars at a time, and in doing so, as it goes unclaimed, so it will grow, and so will future prizes grow at the same time. It's funny, too, that they will be competing to win this $500 prize this evening, as that is the same amount of money that this channel has also managed to raise for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. As of yesterday, a $250 donation marked our second $250 donation, bringing us to a total of $500 raised for charitable causes so far in the history of this programming. So thank you very much to our fans, contestants, and patrons out there who are helping make all of this possible, as well as growing the reach of this channel. I really appreciate it as you stick with us through what will be a long and arduous process towards becoming the greatest competition ever known to all adventurers, and potentially dungeon masters as well. Without further ado, I have nothing more to introduce other than saying that we have another rotating contestant coming into the 5th player seat this evening. One screen name Maple Witch will be joining us as a return of an older character who exited on peaceful terms, the Therita Cliff Tumbler, the Dwarven Rogue. And without further ado, I think we're going to get into this. We have some demonic snake guardians to slay, and not but a single evening to do it in. All right. Contestants, we are about to go live, so let's do this. Everyone, I'm going to switch the map over from the overland to the underland there we go. Take us down hundreds of feet through rock and stone into a cavern far below the surface of Hope's Rise. In a massive, sprawling cavern, seemingly carved by both time and some patient hand of a long-lost civilization, the cavern itself strewn with ruins and strange beasts that seem left over from perhaps a time long forgotten. Having already suffered at the hands of these creatures, the party has made it to the southern wall, where a massive metal exposure has been seen, and on it also the doors to the interior of the dungeon of which they seek have been spotted. And here they square off now against the towering, many-armed, snake-like guardian, wielding great swords in all 8 of her arms. Well, I guess 4 great swords in all 8 of her arms, as she attempts to skewer, slice, dismember, and otherwise murder quite effectively our party members. I'm going to turn up the battle music and get a token down for our rogue as she warps into the fray. Therita, I am going to need you to roll me a d4 into chat so that I can tell which one of the current party members you will be warping closest to. Oh no, it showed up. Sorry, I was just checking on my background music to make sure that it will in fact be doing the appropriate thing as I'm it sounds as if part of it is not loading. But that we will determine in a moment, as it looks like with the 1 being rolled, you will be warping in some, it seems, 5 feet away only from Detlin. Therita, welcome to... Oh, it's gonna load. I promise. I promise it's gonna load. There we go. Therita, welcome to the combat. You are right, as I'm gonna ping the map, there, just north of our Dragonborn fighter and our Dragonborn cleric of the Death Goddess. Let me double check to make sure everything is online and functioning, but we are good to go, as I'm going to get the turn order open, and we're going to go and start with the top of the order, Zaris Lokudora, while Therita, I'm going to need you to give me an initiative as you join us in combat. Oh, well then, Therita, it looks like you are going to be warping in, and with that 22, you will actually be at the top of the initiative order, displaying almost superhuman alacrity as you warp into the battlefield, all of your atoms primed and ready, having foreknowledge of the fact that your companions were in dire straits before you arrived. You are going to be able to go first. I won't waste any more time describing it. Therita?
Go get him, Jen.
Thanks. Okay. Let's see. Is this like how wide is like over here? Like, can she fit through there?
Yes, she can.
Okay. Then I'm gonna start trying to sneak around so I can get behind her.
Okay.
This lady. I forgot the cruiser's name, of course.
All right. Go ahead
It's
and
okay, you just got
move
reassembled.
your token as you would.
Okay.
So from there, having moved, what is your action or your bonus action for that matter?
Oh, sorry. Give me half a second here. Can I take my short bow out, or is that a full action?
No, that's you can definitely fire with your short bow if that's your intention.
No, I was just getting it like out and ready,
All right.
and I suppose that's it for this turn.
Okay. If that's all you want to do, then Therita, you're going to be able to get there. And if that's the end of your turn, we then go to Zaris. Zaris Locudora. Not quite sure whether or not to flee or to remain. You have quite the moral conundrum on your hands.
I do. I'm just trying to figure out, like, back and forth. We're fighting goddess who ripped through, like, space and time. Right, guys?
Sorry, so sorry to interrupt.
What's up?
It just occurred to me, Flashcard, don't I have to make a stealth roll or not yet?
I mean, only if you're trying to sneak, which is something that you have to let me know you're trying to do.
I did.
I did not hear that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
I am still getting everything dialed in with the background music right now. I might have lost you to the hiss of a snake there. Then yes, go ahead and give me a stealth roll for that. And Zaris?
I'll hold my action. Does that? Can I? If I hold my action, can I move and do that later as well, or is it just the action that I'm holding?
You can only hold one action, so you can't hold your entire turn. You would have to pick what it is exactly that you're trying to.
But I can't move later.
No.
Right. Okay.
Unless you're holding a dash action contingent on something.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I could move those 30 feet, but not the movement part.
Yes.
Yeah. What do I overhear from my party members doing battle there, guys?
You talk so much about initiation. Here's yours.
I got killed. That's not
Only gotta
enough.
have 3 words. We are fighting.
Yeah, we don't have enough time to talk. You got 6 seconds for your action.
Well, Sivin, grant me your aid. I am facing eternal struggle here against far greater odds than I've tried before. So I will move 30 feet towards this monstrosity and let off Scorching Ray.
Okay. So from where you are standing, let me make sure that you've got... Okay, that natural 20, of course, will hit, and so will the 8 and the 12 will not. So... Well, sorry, the 8 will not hit, and the 12 will not as well, which means that the relative cover of her won't come into play at all. So go ahead and roll your critical damage for that first Scorching Ray.
Hey!
All right.
Speaking of criticals,
Not bad. That is going to send a particularly massive lance of fiery energy arcing through the air as you miss with the first 2 and then decide to really concentrate your efforts on this last one, pouring every bit of your arcane will remaining into this act and letting go. The ray streaks across the ground, streaks across the air and strikes the Naga straight in the chest, the fire dispersing over the course of the massive iron breastplate that she's wearing, but still you see scar tissue begin to instantly form across her otherwise smooth and supple, if somewhat eerie skin. Zaris?
okay. Guys, what have you got me into?
Our job.
Your turn.
Okay. If that is Zaris' turn, then from there we will be moving on to the Naga Nelafim. Nelafim is going to, looking at the situation and no longer having Avari behind her, is going to have no qualms at charging towards Lupe and attempting to skewer the poor halfling, particularly with the massive red-hot greatsword that she still clutches. And Lupe, I'm going to need you to go ahead and roll some damage for that as she continues to hold on to the thing out of spite, seemingly as if to demonstrate that she cares not for the tricks of this puny halfling and will soon make an end of it, whether or not it causes her hands third-degree burns that you can almost smell the cooking meat off of as that sword draws near you. Lupe? I need you to roll damage for your heat metal.
I did. Oh. Oops.
That's healing word. I mean, sure. If you want a healer, I mean, that's fine, but...
No.
All right.
Did we go through?
It took a second, but that 5 damage is going to do a little, but as I described, it seems she's willing to power through it for the sake of demonstrating to the rest that it will not be sufficient to stop her. And Lupe, the first attack is going to be successful. And I learned my lesson last game about rolling all of her attacks and damages separately, so I'm going to just take these one at a time as they are powerful enough to lay low the average individual depending on just a single strike. This greatsword is going to cleave into you, Lupe, and do a stunning 15 damage. As you feel its just white-hot metal tear at your flesh, you are going to give me a concentration check to see if you can maintain that heat metal or whether or not it is going to dissipate.
I don't know how this is gonna go, guys. You might have to save me.
Everyone might have to save themselves here in a minute. We will see. Now... All right, that is going to be enough. So the heat metal is going to persist, And at that point, she is going to drop the thing, as she does not want to hold on to it any longer than that. But she is going to continue attacking with a miss and then a hit. Lupe, you're going to take far less than you did on the previous attack, as she rolls much lower, but it is still going to be a total of 7 damage. Almost the lowest that she can do.
I'm still up for now.
Okay. And last of her 4 attacks, having ditched the burning greatsword after she had chosen to swing with it, this third attack is also going to be successful and also do marginally more than the previous attack, but it's going to do a total of 9 damage, Lupe, as this thing digs into your flesh and you can feel the greatsword cracking bone and splitting flesh as it withdraws. The Naga leering over you as a giantess. Her swords are each one arch-backed like the talon of some scorpion or spider ready to strike. Neither of those creatures have talons, in case anyone was wondering and curious about biology. That's neither one. Lupe, from
The bard's down.
the bard is down. Go ahead and give me a death saving throw, as that is also the end of the Naga's turn, however. And you have managed to nobly tank the creature in this for the death saving throw of 19. So you're going to, for the moment, be clinging to life, as that first success indicates that while you are down, you are not out. And you did get the Naga to ditch one of her swords, while then having to, moments later, watch the bard go down and the enchantment dissipate. It does waste some of her economy. But Lupe, we then go to your turn afterwards, so I'm going to need another death saving throw. As you make that success, you are now that much closer to surviving and that much less likely to die. And from there we go to Detlin Ruby. Detlin, our dragonborn fighter, there at the center of the action. Cleric and Fallen Bard in front of you, Rogue to the south, and Renegade Wizard bringing up the rear. What do you want to do?
Move back 30 and fire another quarrel.
You got it.
Gonna whiff, and that'll be it.
All right. The whiff is going to then bring us over to Jasir's turn. Jasir, our cleric, what would you like to do?
Alright, see how far away I am. Okay, I'm gonna use my bonus action to hit with spiritual weapon.
Okay.
Nope.
That spiritual weapon is not going to be able to hit, unfortunately.
I'm gonna move back. Same thing as Dylan, move back 30.
Okay.
And I'm gonna shoot off a guiding bolt.
Go for it. That guiding bolt is going to hit. So
Oh, thank God.
go ahead and roll damage for it. And also the next attack against this creature will get advantage. So that is going to bring us 12 radiant damage, which you see causes this very repulsed look to come across the Naga's face as it seems to bite at her flesh, as if this almost animated lightning lingering a moment on her scales and exposed midsection, and causing these massive scars and burns to emerge as the radiant, crackling sort of fire electricity. It seems to cling to this creature's skin for moments longer than it would a normal one, and you see as she burns and twists in it and cries back at you that you will pay.
And that's everything for me.
Okay. From there, we go over from Jasir to the top of the order with Therita Cliff Tumbler. Therita, you have watched as your companion Lupe has gone down. However, they are nobly fighting to cling to life. Meanwhile, you watch as the rest of your party begins to retreat backwards down the rather large earthen stair to your north. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna keep moving to try and flank her.
Okay.
Is right there flanking?
So for flanking to take effect, you will have to be on the opposite side entirely. And you also have to, in order to flank a creature, have to be engaging it in melee combat. You can't flank entirely with ranged, unless I believe there are some class abilities and feats that might affect that. But you can take advantage of flanking once a creature with a ranged weapon, once a creature has been flanked, but it must be accomplished at the start of it, I believe, in melee. If somebody knows the rules off their hand better than that, please feel free to correct me. But I'm pretty sure that that is how the optional flanking rules work.
Okay.
However, if you are, but to establish that, if you are here and then somebody gets Lupe up, then the two of you would be instantly flanking her. I'm not advising that. I'm just merely clarifying in terms of, like, that is what is required in order for, like, flanking to happen mechanically.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's a good chance she murders you if you move there, so, do what you will.
There's a good chance if she murders me if I go behind her? Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, there's a good chance she's going to murder you wherever you go. Don't listen to that.
Yeah, alright, that's her.
Alright.
Alright, then can I actually just dash to her and attack with my... Maybe. Sorry, I gotta think real quick.
Alright, Therita, I can give you a couple seconds, but soon, much like Zaris, you've got to come up with a battle plan, otherwise you're going to be lost to your own indecision.
I'm just gonna fire at her with my short bow.
Okay, go for it. Alright, that 11 unfortunately is not going to be enough to hit, but you do have advantage.
So I can roll again?
Yes. Guiding Bolt grants advantage on the next attack made against that creature. Oh, that 3 is not going to be enough, unfortunately. And that is going to cause the arrow to just ricochet off her armor-like scales of her lower serpentine kind of leg area. And you're going to, then having made your movement and your action, you have your bonus left. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No.
Okay. Therita, if you are done with your turn, then we are going to pass it over to Zaris. Zaris, You watch as your rogue companion, or actually you can't even really see her at this point because of the angle and the steepness of that cliff. You're going to more or less just hear the twang of a bowstring and the cry of Lupe as your other two companions begin to fall back towards your position. What would you like to do at this time?
Zareth is going to continue running forward, yelling, "Sylvain, protect me!"
Okay.
30 more feet.
You got it.
Getting a better line of sight there and letting off one more Scorching Ray.
Okay, then. Go ahead and roll for your triple ray.
Well, 3 of them, yeah.
3 of them. All right. So that 17 is going to be enough to hit. That 8 is not going to be enough to hit. And that 15 will, actually.
Okay.
Okay. That is going to be a decent amount of damage as a 1-2 punch with the previous guiding bolt that made such a definite impact upon this creature. She is going to be swiveling around to deal with Therida and not see those rays coming that are going to otherwise cause her to once again scream out in pain and hiss, as she then swivels again back now towards the party and sees the mage responsible. Zaris, you've moved, you've fired, you've got a bonus action remaining if there's anything you'd like to do.
No, I'm
All
not
right.
going to use that for anything.
The Naga is going to burn a little bit of its economy and pick up that sword that it had dropped moments ago, and then let's see here what she's got.
Is the sword still burning?
No, because Lupe's down.
Ah, yes.
So it looks like,
Unfortunately, a good man.
based on the trajectory, as much as that is a problem for her, I think this is going to get a little trickier than that. This Naga is going to swivel and she is actually going to go after Therida, as the group is too far for her to reach without having to burn the rest of her turn dashing. And Therida, you are going to find yourself on the receiving end of not 3, but only 2, because she had to spend her bonus action picking up her other sword. But that is going to be enough, as Therida, the first attack. What's up?
Can I use my zodiac sign?
Absolutely.
You may roll 1d4 after being successfully hit by a single target melee attack, and a result of 3 or 4, that attack is no longer successful.
Go ahead. Roll that
You
d4.
can also put that.
As you manage to successfully embrace that of the zodiac sign of the displacer beast, you will be able to warp just ever so slightly to the side as a kind of an illusionary image of yourself emerges just enough to cause the Naga's sword to swing wide, and you can feel the wind as the blade moves past you and ruffles the leathers of your armor, but does not make contact and instead strikes into the stone. So that is one of those 2 attacks. And so then the second attack is still successful. So I will have to roll damage for that at this time. It's going to be a total of... You'll take 16 damage, Therida, as you manage to dodge the first, but not the second attack. And you are going to feel that third greatsword come crashing into your shoulder blade, tearing apart muscle and bone and twisting on its way out as the Naga hisses at you. Very, very upset. Now, having not used any of her action, or sorry, any of her movement beyond about a foot to swivel around, the Naga is going to do something a little bit more clever than pursuing the party downstairs, and instead is going to move around Therita so that she becomes even more difficult to see by the angle, as the party is some 20-30 feet below her at this point, having descended that massive earthen stair. And then from here, she is going to begin extending the latter half of her body and managing to effectively crouch down, giving her 3/4 cover as she gets behind the pillars that you see there that Lupe's body is currently on your side of. You can only now see basically her massive pauldrons and some of her collar, her helmet, and her head exposed as she is threatening still the rogue Therita in melee combat, while also making herself a much smaller target. From there, we go to Lupe. Lupe, you are going to give us a third death saving throw, which might see you recover to your senses. And indeed you do. The lucky halfling is going to manage to open your eyes. You can feel blood flowing from your head, as well as multiple wounds along your torso. There are scrapes and bruises, and you are sure to feel that in the morning, but for the time being, you are grateful to be alive. Lupe, you are going to then... basically, you'll have to make a concentration check if you want to make an action of any kind, and you can move by dragging yourself across the ground, but that will also be very limited. At this point, what would you like to do?
That would also count. That would still be under bonus actions as well, correct?
You mean to cast Healing Word?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, so give me a concentration check to fight through the pain, as you are only semi-conscious and you might be mumbling or otherwise messing up your somatic. Oh, that is a critical failure. So instead of your concentration being enough to cast Healing Word, one moment. Lupe, you are... with that, going to sort of accidentally fade out of consciousness again. You are not in the dying state, but with that, you're gonna lose the rest of your turn as you kind of black out trying to summon forth your magical powers for this turn, and you will be with us again when we get to you at the end of this cycle.
All right. At least
Sorry.
I'm not dead.
Sorry, Lupe. So your luck had to end eventually, and at least that natural one wasn't on a death save. So from there we go to Detlin. Detlin Ruby, you are up, and you are watching as this is kind of turning into a little bit of, a problem.
What's the height of the boulder beside me?
The height of the boulder beside you at its peak is about 20 feet. It's mostly at about 10 to 15. The 20-foot portion is right over here.
Athletics to climb it then?
Absolutely.
Am I close enough to help with that? It's his action, so...
Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately not. I'd let you burn your reaction in order to try and aid, but you are not... you'd have to be adjacent.
Got it.
All right, that's 7 athletics. Because this boulder is fairly smooth, but also has some easy handholds, that 7 is going to represent your ability to get up there, but it is going to cost you more movement than you'd like. So, Detlin, after you get up onto that boulder, you are only going to have another 10 feet of movement remaining.
Perfect. We're going to stand up there at the peak and re-aim the crossbow. Does she still have 3/4 cover, or just...
At that point, she only has half.
Okay.
Go ahead and fire. Oh, Detlin.
Move your 10 rolls out of the way. Come on now.
All right, getting it out of the way for the team. So that 6 is going to send a crossbow bolt flying just too far over the Naga's helm as she's going to look over at you and squint with her burning eyes, Detlin, making sure that you know that she sees you there, but she has yet work to do with your rogue companion before she can join you. Jasir, you are up. What would you like to do?
Alright, gonna use my bonus, move my spiritual weapon 20 feet, try again.
All right.
There we go.
22. That is certainly enough to clock this Naga in the side with your spiritual weapon. And that 7 damage is going to be enough to cause her to get distracted for a moment, now looking down at this thing, and causing her concentration on Therida to break for a moment. Jasir, that's your bonus action. What would you like to do with the remainder of your turn?
I'm gonna cast Bless on myself, Detlin, and Zaris.
Okay. That is your action and your bonus. Anything with your movement?
I'm gonna move up a little bit.
All right, I'm adding the orange dots to signify bless. Okay. And
Yeah, I'll be there.
looks like Jasir is going to begin moving closer to the combat. From there, we go now to the top of the order with Therida Cliff Tumbler. Therida, you see that this Naga is serious business. Having your life saved maybe just by the circumstances of your zodiac sign last turn. What do you want to do here? Do you stand and fight bravely, or do you...
I'm gonna sneak behind her.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. Let me take a quick measurement, but due to your... Yep, yeah, it's totally fine. You've actually even still got some movement to spare.
Nice. Okay, then
I mean, I can kind of understand because
is pulling out my rapier be like, can I use my movement, the rest of my movement to do that so I can still attack, or is that not a thing in 5e?
You can still attack with your rapier. I don't generally enforce weapon draw rules, mostly because I find that unless there's sort of an exceptional situation, or something is particularly clunky and doesn't make sense in the transition, it's generally slows combat down more than it does enhance it.
Okay, then I'm going to attack with my rapier. And the sneak attack is the damage, correct?
The sneak attack is in the damage. In order to take advantage of that sneak attack, though, you will need to basically be able to either have advantage on her or have somebody else flanking with you in order to create that situation. So for the time being, because she was currently like aware of you and engaged with you in melee, while getting behind her is going to make it much easier for your companions to approach and flank her, at the moment you are not going to have the advantage of your sneak attack.
Okay, that's fine. I'm still going to attack her.
Yeah, of course, of course. Go ahead and roll. All right, that 6 is not going to be enough. It looks like the group is having a rough time with their melee and ranged attacks while the magic is going off pretty successfully. That has actually kind of squared off with last session, as the Naga had failed a number of saving throws here and there. So, rapier attack having failed, you still have your bonus action left at this point. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your turn?
If I Can I do the like hit dice healing, or is that a full action?
You can only use your hit dice during short rests.
Oh,
Yeah, I kind of.
then I suppose not.
All right. From there, Therita, if that is the end of your turn, then we will be going to Zaris Lokudora. Zaris, you are up, and now what would you like to do?
He is continue rushing at her in his quarterstaff in one hand, screaming to call her pound for me, and give aid to me as I pick up my staff and stride forward, and I will be close enough there. To let off a ray of sickness.
Okay.
Oh!
A critical ray of sickness, nonetheless. Nicely done, as that ray of sickness is going to be the second of your critical hits. Go ahead.
2d8.
2d8. All right. So, from there... she is going to fail that Constitution saving throw.
Ah. She is poisoned and will have disadvantage on attacks. Awesome.
Fortunately, she is immune to poison damage.
Oh. He doesn't know that, though.
He does not know that. But you do see as your critical ray of sickness, despite feeling the mass of your arcane will and the fury of Sylvain mounting behind it, seems to almost glance off of this Naga as it impacts with her. And unlike the radiant damage and the fire damage that had scoured her flesh, she seems to not enjoy it, but almost smirk as it just melts off of her. This green arcane energy dissipating into so much a particle and smoke effect as she just kind of brushes it off with her arms.
Well, she's got enough arms to do it. Okay. He's doesn't have any bonus actions to use right now, so he's gonna keep yelling at her, see what she does.
Okay. So from there, we go now to the Naga's turn. She still has Therita in her sights, as that is going to be the immediate threat, given the fact that the rogue is currently attempting to stab her in the back. And so she is going to continue to sort of cycle backwards with her and shift around, getting further away from the party members, as she begins now to unleash the full fury of her 4 attacks. Just starting with the first one, which is going to be successful. It looks like there's going to be a total of, plus the Therita, you're going to take 12 damage from this attack.
Down.
Therita goes down. Give me a death saving throw as...
Can she eat this grave flower that she has? When consumed, automatically pass your first death saving throw in the next 8 hours.
You would have had to have done that before, well, on your turn, unfortunately.
Okay.
You will have to hope that you can struggle back to your feet, or one of your companion will be able to aid you in order to get you close enough to eat that. But that is going to automatically pass you a death saving throw with an 18. So Therita, though down, is not yet letting go of life, as that is going to be the Naga's first attack. She has her second attack in the tank. She's gonna move. Makes sense for her to move. 1, 2, 3. She is going to, now that Therita is downed, move to the south here, and you are going to watch as... Let me see if I can... I need to take a measurement really quick. No. Okay, so she's just going to keep going. She's going to get to basically just behind this pillar and attempt to, by going prone... You're going to watch as this Naga drops from sight, and though there are some sword tips and shoulder pauldrons emerging from behind this column, she is going to be completely obscured to ranged attacks at this moment, as she is going to manage to tuck up and conceal all of her body mass along the length of that fallen pillar. That is going to be her last action. And then from there we go to Lupe. Lupe, go ahead. You now come back out from the kind of temporary blackout that you had suffered from exerting yourself too hard, too fast. As you return to consciousness, our bard is going to... Lupe?
Got a curious question.
Let's go.
Can I use healing word and then do a performance check to play dead?
Yes. It would be a deception check, but you totally could do it. So go ahead and give me a concentration check to make to cast that healing word. Because again, you're still at 0 effectively, so you're not quite out of the woods yet. You've got this like darkness teasing in at the edges of your peripheral vision. The Reaper is close by. All right, that 14 is enough, which means that your healing word will go through. So you now gain those 10 HP from your healing word. You, as that happens, are going to manage to sort of feel reinvigorated by the celestial magic that you manage to weave together with your soothing words as a well-trained magician. And Lupe, at this point, because you started the turn with your, like, in the dying state, at this point you can either move or you can take a bonus action in terms of you can try to make that deception check, or you can move a little bit. Which would you prefer?
I'm gonna play dead, see if that works.
All right, give me the deception check. See if you can not draw this Naga's ire as she lies hidden, not but maybe 20, 30 feet away. Who knows? As Lupe gives it his all and attempts to try and, just, you get like the little white lily on your chest and everything, and you kind of start humming funeral music under your breath like they do in the Looney Tunes. Yeah, it'll probably work. It'll probably work. Feel very confident about it.
She doesn't know.
Shh. Her vision is mostly movement-based. That is going to pass us from Lupe to Detlin. Detlin, as I zoom out, you find yourself now, unfortunately, unable to see the Naga as you are at some distance on lower ground, and she has made a concerted effort to obscure herself.
So he would like to end up on top of the other rock.
Okay.
Here. It's going to be a total of 55, so action to dash, and then athletics to see if you can actually make the climb.
Yes, that totally works. Movement plus dash. Go ahead and give me the athletics with a 23. Because you've got to jump down and then that climb is fairly considerable, you are basically going to get to like here. So you're not on top of that that outcropping of boulders there. You're basically on the ledge on top of the cliff. So you are now on the same plane as all of these columns and the rest of this, but you're not yet elevated above the Naga.
Got it.
With that, that's going to basically be your whole turn, I believe. So, congratulations as you managed to really put the pedal to the metal. Your dragonborn frame sprinting across the cavern floor while bound yet in like heavy armor and carrying weapons on your back. You throw yourself with a rock and begin to scrabble up, kind of chipping some of your talon along the way, but it doesn't matter as you manage to huff and pull yourself up to the same level that the Naga is at now. You can see her better, but at this point she is still entirely concealed. You would have to get up on top of those rocks or get closer to actually be able to effectively hit her with a ranged attack. From there we go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up.
All right. Is this area, is that on the same plane as I am, or is that like
No,
another-
that plane, that is actually a bit higher than you are. That's about 10, 15 feet higher than you are, because that's at the top of the stair, and these stairs are about 3 to 4 feet each.
Okay, then first I'm gonna walk over there, so that's 5, 5, 10, and I'm gonna try to climb up.
Okay, go ahead and give me an athletics check. Oof. So with that, you are not...
Can I use my reaction there to help him up?
Go ahead. You can use your reaction to try and aid.
Athletics.
No.
Nope.
Jasir, you are not going to be able to make it up. And that will burn your bonus action.
Mine or his?
Yours.
Damn. All right.
So I
I
lace
will-
my fingers together like, hey, step up here! And you put your foot down and just, break right through my grasp.
I will hold an action. So does that burn my movement? Also?
It burns a little bit of your movement, so you've still got it took you 10 to get over, right?
Yeah.
So it would have burned 10 feet in the attempt to try and get up and then fall back down, so you've still got 10 left.
Okay. Then I'm gonna take. Wait, there is.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is going to be basically you're not quite up that last step there. The ledge is right in front of
Yeah.
you, but it's only waist high, so.
Okay. So I'll be there, and then I'll hold my action. If I'm able to see, like if the Naga like pops up, I'm gonna hit her with crossbow.
Okay. Got it. And from there, we go to the top of the order with Therita. I'm going to need another death saving throw to see whether or not you are going to be able to try and regain consciousness. Ooh, all right. So we are now 1 for 1 on the death saving throws with Therita.
Can she still attempt to eat the flower?
No, because she hasn't recovered to the 0 HP state. She's still in the dying state. She'll have to either make 2 more successful saving throws or get healed or, something along those lines. So, Therita, that is unfortunately your turn. From there, we go to Zarus Locudora. Zarus, you are up. What would you like to do?
Well, I can't see her anymore, but I'm gonna continue my way up.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at this height, can I get any better view?
At this height, you can see her enough that if you needed to cast like a based on line of sight spell, you could do it.
Yeah.
But if it was a projectile, you'd have a rough time.
Okay. I will spend the action running another 30 feet dash.
All right.
Okay.
So with that, Zaris, you are having pulled a complete 180 and now sprinting into combat to save the life of a companion who has just only so recently manifested here, and you feel it would be so deeply, profoundly a tragedy if Sylvain allowed you to stand by and do nothing as this horrific, towering monstrosity obstructs not only your guild, but maybe the progress of life itself on the world of Eidolon. And then behind that pillar there, you're going to find about half cover, but the Naga is up next, and it looks like she has got some options. So, oh yeah. So the Naga is going to sacrifice a little bit of movement and end up slithering over this column and then moving around here, Zaris. I do remember you still have mage armor active, so your AC is 17 currently, or 18?
Yeah.
17.
17.
Okay. Getting pretty good at keeping these in my head off just without having to refer to my notes, but I always like to double check.
And how to get that crossbow shot?
You do, in fact. As she rears up over the edge of that column, you will be able to get that crossbow attack off. Go ahead and roll with a 23. That is going to be successful as you manage to do 1 piercing damage.
It's more than 0.
It is more than 0 as it manages to not stick into the Naga's body, but it sort of glances off of her, the metal tip of your crossbow bolt sort of gouging out a wound in her body. But it is hardly a distraction as she's going to continue on and press Zaris. Zaris, first attack is going to be successful. And that is going to be 4 plus. So it's only going to be an 11 for the first attack. Second attack misses. Now, third attack hits. And that's going to be... That's 14 damage. Then this is the fourth and final attack of the Naga at the moment.
I go down at that third one.
Oh, you go down at the third one. Thank you for letting me know. I try not to keep too close a track of character health just because I don't want to have somebody's life in front of me in terms of like influencing whether or not, those last crucial points of damage. So that is going to, if that downs you on the third attack, that does put her in a weird position because she's already begun burning her bonus action, but she's also already moved. So Zaris, you are going to, in that, she's just going to stab again. So Zaris, give me a death saving throw, and then with her attack, that is going to be... so 1 failure, and then her attack on you is going to be another automatic failure. So that is 2 down. We will see what becomes of our wizard. His bravery may yet prove the necessary grease in order to save other lives, though. Sylvain be praised. Lupe Gildentoe, just to the north of you, you watch as your companion comes climbing over massive stone step and flinging himself into battle to try and distract this Naga from perhaps returning to finish the job, and kind of like opening one eye slyly, still with the flower on your chest, posing to be dead. You're gonna see and hear as Zaris cries out, attempting to grit through the pain, but ultimately the old wizard slumps over onto the column next to them, bleeding rather profusely and looking as if they are in some trouble.
I can't use 2 different spells, correct?
Only if one of them is a cantrip. That is the exception to that. You can use 2 spells if one of them is a cantrip and you've got the economy for it, because a lot of cantrips are full actions, but some aren't, and some spells are not full actions. So you have to, like, there are very specific combos. That was kind of a purposeful thing done by the game design of this game, well, of the game designers.
Right, then I'm going to use Healing Word on our last that's fallen previously.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. So Healing Word, that will go to Therida, and Therida, you will then, of course, be revived as you feel the healing words of your companion Lupe begin to weave through the air and almost find you somewhere far in the blackness of your mind as you struggle with death itself, and bring you once again towards the light, snapping you awake, and with a giant you almost wish that he hadn't, for the cries in the air and still the obvious sounds of combat that join your ears. But Lupe, that is just your action. You still have your bonus and... Actually, no, I think Healing Word is a bonus. So you still have your action and your movement.
Moving there, and for my action... Vicious Mockery on the Naga.
Okay, Vicious Mockery it is. So that is going to be, I believe... Yep, Wisdom saving throw, which she fails. She is just not... Like, she has decent saves, I swear. I swear she has decent saves. That is going to be 3 damage, and she's going to have disadvantage on the next attack roll. So that, Lupe, is your entire economy. Congratulations. You've still got a little bit of movement left if you want. You've got about, like, maybe 5 feet, but that's about it. Okay, Lupe is going to take it. All right, sure. From there, we go to Detlin. Detlin, I'm going to pan over, our brave Dragonborn rejoining the fray. From here, you could either step to the left by 5 feet and immediately begin firing at her in terms of visibility, or do you have something else in plan?
Finish climbing the rock.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics then to get up on top of that thing. Woof. Okay, so much like the other rock below, this one, you're going to be able to get up with the 7 athletics, but it is going to cost you almost all of your movement in order to do that. You only have 5 feet left once you get to the top of that thing, even though, yeah. So, I mean, it will be enough to make that shift, but you have 0 movement left now, and your bonus action has been burned. So all you have left is your action.
He's going to lick the feathers on the back of the coral, stick it in the slot, and make it actually land this time.
All right, I believe in you, Detlin. That is enough. That is on the line. 15 is her AC, and you are going to manage to break it by 2, thanks to the bless. So go ahead and drive that crossbow bolt home. Let's see what you're capable of doing. 9 piercing damage. All right, not bad. Definitely upping the ante from Jassir's crossbow bolt as this one drives into her tail. Not a particularly vital region, but because it is both unarmored and narrower, you watch as the crossbow bolt actually manages to pierce through the thing and come out the other side, and blood begins to pour out either side of the wound as she thrashes her tail, and it makes it all worse, and she looks back over her shoulder and goes, Dragonborn, you will die next.
Gotta catch me first.
All right. And from there, that is your entire economy. So it goes to Jassir. Jassir, You are nearby. You're still at like chest height on this stone barrier. You're looking at your companion towering over the almost dead. You're looking at your companion being towered over by this Naga, and they are almost dead. So what would you like to do?
All right, first things first. Spiritual weapon.
All right. Using your bonus action to move and strike with that thing.
Does that get bless?
No. The spiritual weapon counts as its own thing, I believe.
Okay.
Let me double check on that, but...
Because, like, I'm still making, like, the attack roll.
No, yeah, I get it. Let me double check on the exact wording of that, but go ahead and roll
Yeah.
the d20 while we're... Alright. Double check bless. You know, actually, by the wording of it, no, that would affect. Yeah, but that bless would count. Which actually, in this exact context,
It makes
really matters.
Yeah, it really does.
I didn't even see the 14 before. I was just looking at the spell descriptions. But the way they're worded, they do interact successfully. So that is going to be 4 force damage to this Naga. And you're going to see it kind of like dig into her side as she winces, and you see it makes a dent in her breastplate, but not enough to really cause her to change tact from currently being more concerned with Detlin. So that's your attack with your spiritual weapon. So what are you going to do with your action and your movement?
I'm gonna try to climb. Like, I'm gonna move 30 and dash 30, trying to get here.
Okay.
That's my 60.
Got it.
I'm gonna give you an athletics.
Yep. So with that 20, and because there's plenty coming from the traveling from west to east over those rocks is fairly easy. You don't really need to make an athletics check. It's just sort of difficult terrain. You are going to be able to get not quite onto the other side of Detlin, looking at the total distance there, but you will get pretty far. Let me go ahead and grab you. You're going to make it to about here.
Okay.
All right. From there, Jasir, we pass it over to Therita Cliff Tumbler. Therita, you have the halfling bard to thank for your recent escape from life and death. As you awake, you look over to see the Naga nearby currently leering over a dying wizard. You have this moment while it is distracted. What would you like to do?
Sorry, real fast. I think my thing just glitched. Can everybody see me or hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're fine.
Can hear you.
Okay. Can the Twitch see me?
I imagine. Oh, wait, no, you've just dropped out.
Nope.
And, yep, and you're back.
I can see you.
Alright. You're back. Can I dash over to Zaris and try to get him away from her?
Let me... As far as... So, yeah, you would have to dash because he is outside your regular movement. And then at that point, you would give me an athletics check to try and begin dragging him away from her.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and roll athletics, Therita, as you attempt to grab a hold of Zaris and pull him from danger. That 8 athletics is going to basically represent that you are going to be able to pull him about... Are you trying to go directly north? I was going to shift your token, but I don't want to... Is that your...
Yeah, just
Okay.
Anywhere away from
Directly
her.
away. So you're only going to be able to get Zaris to about... 1 second. Here. Whoop. That she shifted a little forward in that. I'm not trying to take credit there. There we go. So Yeah, you'll be able to get Zaris out of immediate melee threat range, but, she is now only 15 feet away on the other side of that pillar and looking at you with her burning red-hot eyes glowering at the back of her, kind of like daunting, almost Spartan-like helmet for the feather and ridge that runs down the center line of it. Therita, that is going to be your movement, and then your dash, and with your bonus action to grab a hold of Zaris, and that athletics check, that represents your pulling, how far you get pulling him away. So that is, unfortunately, all of your economy.
Okay, then I'm done.
So from there, Therita, we go to Zaris, and Zaris, you need to make a very fateful check, as you now have 2 failures on your side. Will the wizard live or die?
Give me some of Lupe's luck.
Buddy, you can make it.
Okay.
That was a 1 there on the
Keep it up,
virtual
keep it
dice
up.
for a second. Oh man, that was close. All right, Zaris, you live for another round as you now have 2 failures and 1 success.
The anxiety is real.
The anxiety mounts as we are only about an hour into this game so far, and the players have gone down 3 so far. The serpent making sure to take its time with these creatures in order to prevent them from, I'm playing a larger meta here. If she's to kill all of you, then she's going to have to do it slowly. So, Zaris, that is your turn, and now we go to the Naga, who has a little bit of a split decision to make here. The cleric and the dragonborn fighter are clearly the larger threats in this situation, and they have demonstrated that. They are, however, just far enough away that the Naga is going to have difficulty getting there and doing anything about it in the same turn. Meanwhile, there are...
She could just throw her swords at them.
This is true.
You don't give many ideas.
She could just throw her swords.
Then she wouldn't have them.
In times like this, I always make checks on behalf of the monsters to see which way they're going to split, just so it's not just like a vengeance-based system. And it looks like this Naga is going to press forward and try and make short work of the remaining companions. Moving forward first now, it looks like Therita... The first attack is going to miss. Second attack also misses. This means she's going to have to use her bonus action to get her second round of attacks. This one is going to hit, however, as you manage to duck and weave successfully for a moment. This next attack is going to be almost max damage for her. That is 15 plus. So you're going to take a total of 18 damage as she rolls almost max. Go ahead and give me another death saving throw, Therita, as you struggle to remain up. 10 is enough. That is enough. So when you go up, your positives reset, but your negatives do not. So you still will need to make 2 more successful death saving throws in order to regain your consciousness. But for the time being, you are going to be down. And then, having burned its movement and its action and having 1 attack left with its bonus action, the Naga is going to have a tough decision to make here. All right. Zaris. I'm sorry to say the Naga is going to spend the last of her economy, and she is going to plunge her sword into the wizard's body. That is going to be the failure of your 3rd death saving throw, my friend.
Yeah. Oh, God. Go out and blaze a glory.
Absolutely.
At you.
Yeah, okay.
With that, the Naga is going to twist the blade in the spine of the wizard, and you will all hear a sickening crack resound throughout the cavern as she lets back a sadistic cry. All of this like sweet music to her ears as she hisses.
What happened
with
to I
delight.
was next?
What'd you say?
What happened to I was next?
She, things changed. And that is going to be the Naga's full turn. Lupe, you are up. You watch as nearby things start to get very real. And to all of our contestants out there, or would-be contestants out there, I will be drawing for that available seat in just a moment. We have some combat to resolve here, and I want to get us to at least a sort of a resting spot before I start bringing more people into the game and diverting attention there. So, Lupe, what are you doing?
Well, I was gonna heal Zaris, but give me a second.
You can still heal the other one.
Alright, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to move away a little bit and then heal our rogue friend.
All right. Go ahead and move. I will say, Lupe, if you get to the bottom of those stairs, you will not be able to see Therita just from the angle of where she is. Not to say you couldn't heal her and then move, but just so that you're aware for future information.
Okay. Will I still be able to heal her?
Yeah, like I was saying, you'd be able to heal her from where you were, so it's fine for you to heal her and then move, but if you're like next turn, if you try and heal her from down there, you won't be able to because you won't be able to see her.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Well, and I think she'd be out of range at that point too. But go ahead, give me that healing word. What? Yep. All right, Therita, for the second time in this combat, you feel your body pulled back from the brink of the abyss as the darkness shrinks once again into a pinpoint of light that then expands into the room with deafening clarity. There is a ringing in your ears, and you come to look down. To your horror, to see that the body of your friend that you were trying to help just moments ago has been dismembered by the Naga, who is still towering over you, glaring down as if to say you are next. Lupe, that is your movement. That is your bonus action with your healing word. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
I wouldn't be able to give her Bard of Inspiration, would I?
I believe, let me double check, but I think that you have to be able to see her for that. It might just be anyone within... Dun, dun, dun. It might be anyone who can hear you is the thing, and that's why I'm just double checking. I believe... Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why this page is taking so long to load. There we go. All right, once and then... Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, anyone who can hear you within 60 feet. So you totally can, actually. I'm glad I checked that. So Therita is...
That will go...
up, and then she has Bardic Inspiration, so... Is that... I think that's your entire economy.
That it is.
From there, we go to Detlin Ruby. Detlin, our Dragonborn. what would you like to do from your perch over here, trying to distract the Naga from your more currently imperiled and endangered companions?
So I need the ruling on this one before I decide whether or not I can do it.
Please.
With crossbow reloading, given that action surge gives you another action, would I be able to fire a bolt, action surge, and fire another bolt?
Yes, unless you had a heavy crossbow or something that would, like where it takes like a bonus action then or something. So yeah, with just a regular crossbow, you're fine.
Okay, so we're gonna fling the first coral. Go, hey, fling the second coral. You.
Got it. 15, 17. All right, that's enough to hit. 10 piercing damage is enough that she is going to definitely consider that. And that Bless is going to get that other crossbow bolt over the line. And 17 damage is not to be ignored. This Naga is starting to get pretty beat up. You don't know how much constitution this creature has and how much of its external body is really a good indicator of its life force. But you can see there are now cuts, scrapes, wounds, blast marks, and dents and various things along her entire exterior that look like they're starting to add up. And Detlin, that 14 will consume the last of your action economy for the insight. You're trying to get an idea of how much HP she has left?
Yep. How hurt is hurt?
With that 14, you're going to bet that she is likely over the halfway mark, but just so. And unfortunately, you don't really know what that means numbers wise. Some of this damage could have been ignored by resistances. Some of it could have been, there's a lot of things that could have kind of gone into that. So you're not sure if that means does she have another 100 left? Does she have another 75 left? But it's harder to do. That insight leaves you with some questions.
And then his movement, he's going to hop down from the rock and run away to get more distance.
You got it. From there, Detlin, we pass over to Jasir. Jasir, you are up.
Okay. I think my spiritual weapon might be abandoned. I think it's probably almost dead anyway.
It is close to dead, but it is not quite. You have, by my count, 2 more turns with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. Well, it's 40 feet away. I'm going to. Or actually. For Bardic Inspiration, I can wait to see the result before using it, correct? Of a roll?
You can wait to know your roll, but you don't know the result. So when you roll, you have to think whether or not it's successful and choose whether or not you used it. Before
Yeah.
says,
Okay, cool. So I am going to. I can do that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna use Guiding Bolt. That's gonna hit.
Yes, it will. Go ahead and roll that critical Guiding Bolt damage.
Nice.
Woo! Okay, that is going to do quite a bit to destroy this Naga's confidence in terms of her situation in this battle. Watching as that impacts her back and causes the lightning and white fire to ripple up her spine, you see it make this massive and ironically serpentine scar across her exposed flesh that begins to boil over instantly and scar quite readily. Jasir, that is your action.
Yeah, I might as well. I'm gonna use my bonus to move the. Actually, can I, as a bonus action, throw something, or would that be an action?
to throw something, you could as a bonus action, unless it's like an attack. Like you're allowed to kind of like hurl a pebble loosely because it's just considered to be like this uncoordinated thing. But if you're trying to like hit it with a some sort of object or like toss a flask of oil, then that is considered an action.
Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna move my spiritual weapon.
All right. Go for it.
There, and then I'm gonna move my 30 towards Detlin.
All right. Okay, then from there, moving all the way back to that is going to be the end of Jassir's turn, and that is going to be the start of Therida's. As we transition over now to the top of the order, Therida, you are clinging to life here, but you are doing so, and thus still in the game. What would you like to do now as this Naga towers over you, and you have only limited options?
Disengage. Wait.
Wrong one. Trying to grab.
I don't know if this would be meta gaming.
It doesn't matter. Do what you will.
All right. I'm gonna search Zarus's body for the bag of locust eggs, and then I'm gonna try and chuck them right at the Naga.
Cool.
All right. Go ahead and, not knowing where they are off the top of your head, go ahead and give me a quick sleight of hand check to rapidly try and search Zarus's corpse and get those locust eggs.
Okay. Give me. Sorry, I was reading this fast hands thing. But it doesn't look like it applies. So you said sleight of hand?
Yep. Okay, with a 16, you're able to easily find the locust eggs in a hurry, and with that, it is basically a bonus action to activate them and throw them at the Naga, basically because she occupies so much space that, it's... unless you're trying to land it on a very specific tile, it's not much for you to just drop it basically right in front of her.
Yeah, I was just chucking it at her.
Okay. So that is going to leave you with your action and your movement left.
I run.
Okay.
So dash does double your movement, correct?
Dash gives you another movement, whatever your movement is.
Okay.
So, which is, I say that because the wording sometimes confuses people where they think that they get twice of whatever their movement would be, so it's like 3 times, but that is, you would have to dash twice. But so, all right, if you are going to be dashing and also moving away, unfortunately, without disengaging, this Naga is going to get to execute an attack of opportunity against you. So we will see how that goes. She will not be successful, actually. And she almost critically fails. Does not, but almost. As that sword is going to go wide above your head, the Naga looking down, almost half curious at this bag of locust eggs on the ground. And they are going to begin to start to, like, kind of vibrate and hum on the ground. It's a noise that's subtle enough and quiet enough that only really the Naga at this point would hear it. But for theatrical effect, these eggs are going to begin swelling outside of the, like, small, like, little marble size that they originally were as they make contact with oxygen. And the creatures inside begin to enter into these rapid, uncontrollable growth spurts. And you see wings start to emerge from these now like almost almost golf ball sized eggs and hatch locusts that are about the size of the palm of your hand and could likely strip flesh from your body with their little razor sharp teeth and mandibles. Therita, that is your turn. Zaris, unfortunately, I'm sorry, has been taken from the initiative, and now we go to the Naga, who...
The locusts can act on my initiative.
Sure. The locusts will go again on Therita's turn. Is that sort of the clock that is controlling her? And it looks like, given the distances available, this Naga is going to... It just makes most sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. She is going to do like she has done before. She's going to move here with her movement. She is then going to use her action to attempt to spit her venom at Jasir. As she rears back, and it goes wide. Jasir, you are not going to have to worry about that. The acid kind of bubbling and dissolving the rock nearby, but having no effect. And then with that, she is then going to use what remains to try and basically get over here. And she's going to, because it is a free action, fall prone, dropping to the ground and completely flattening out, and thus obscuring her line of sight between her, Jasir, and Detlin, as well as giving her rather great cover against Lupe, who is some 25 feet below her right now, looking up. So really the only one who can see her well is Therita, and at that it would be, still quite a distance, and, from there, the Naga is going to hand it over to Lupe. Lupe, you are up.
Give me a second to figure out what I'm going to do.
All right. I can give you a couple seconds, but...
I can't do any spells because I can't see her, correct?
At the moment, you can see like the top of one of her swords and some of her armor sticking out. So you could do something that was like line of sight based, but if it was a projectile, it would be very, very difficult.
You know what? Let's do heat metal. Can I see her armor at all or no?
You can see her one of her shoulder pauldrons, her helmet, and one of her swords currently.
Helmet.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your 3d8s.
3? Yeah, I thought it was 2.
I believe, is it not? Oh, no, sorry. Shatter is 3d8s. Heat metal is 2.
That's mixed.
So that is going to be 7 damage, and she will scream and cast off her helmet, throwing it to the ground as it kind of skitters across the tile, back towards where Jasir's spiritual weapon is. Lupe, that's your action. You've got your movement and your bonus left.
Alright, let's move a little further away. And as a bonus action, I will hold healing word if somebody gets attacked, including myself.
All right, so you're going to hold your bonus action for the next person to get attacked. Got
Yep, for healing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, heat metal and healing word is a first level spell, so you can't cast both.
Right. Okay. Then yeah, I'm just gonna have to end my turn there.
All right. From there, we go from Lupe to Detlin. Detlin, you've lost eyesight on this Naga. What do you want to do?
I'm just gonna double dash, run away, and get some distance so that whenever she does become visible, we can continue this fun.
Doing the double dash runaway. Go ahead and give me an acrobatics or an athletics as you jump off that, what is, you know, about a 20-foot cliff. And so if you don't... All right, 15, that is going to be enough that as you land, you're only going to take about a point of damage, literally, as you just kind of accidentally feel it in your shins, your weight coming down a little awkward, and the height just being just a little too far. But Detlin, if that's your turn, then we're going to pass over to Jasir. As Jasir, you watch your companion flee to the north. What are you going to do?
Would trying to like slide down the cliff be any different than just like kind of doing what Detlin did?
That is kind of what the only difference is you'd lose time and thus movement. Like descending the cliff rather than just taking a leap could slow you down, but that depends also on the athletics check and you know what happens.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do the same thing.
All right.
So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
take the leap.
There.
Go ahead and give me that roll, sir.
Oh, can I? No, I'm gonna. No, I can't do that. Okay.
All right, that 11 athletics is not going to be enough to protect you as much as Detlin was.
Oh, sorry. Can I use my bardic inspiration?
Yes.
Is that the D6?
It is a D6. I forgot you still had that for a moment. All right, that 12 is going to land you in the same bracket, and so, Jasir, as you land, you are going to take 4 damage, and you are going to need to give me a concentration check for your spiritual weapon at that point, even though it is nominal.
It's not a concentration check.
Oh, right. I always forget that. It is not a concentration check.
Anyway.
Yeah, so with that, yeah, you're good to go. And we go back to top of the order with Therita. You are up, ma'am, as you see the Naga now in the middle of your companions who are more spread out. You feel that everyone is perhaps a little bit safer, but with the Naga still laying flat against the ground, you are not going to have a very good angle to fire at her from this distance. What do you want to do?
I'm going to do something probably unheard of. I'm going to go back over to Zaris's body, and if I can I try to cast a spell from his spell book?
Unfortunately, lacking the arcane train... Wait, are you an arcane trickster?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't believe so. Lacking the arcane training necessary, you would not be able to cast out of a mage's spell book. It does not work the same way as scrolls.
Darn. I thought if I could make an arcana check.
It would be possible to do it were the there a longer period of time in front of you, but it is not something you'd be able to accomplish rapidly in the heat of combat.
Would she be able to control the locusts, or no?
I believe in their description it says this bag will begin to hatch uncontrollable flesh-hungry locusts. By the dozens. Usable only once.
Okay, then...
Speaking of which, I'm going to throw down an insect cloud so that we've got something to mark those locusts with, as they are going to begin tearing into the combat here on this turn. Therita, what are you doing?
Okay, well, then I'm going to try something else. I'm going to get a little closer to her.
Okay.
If I dash, I can still make an action, right? Or does that use up?
So
I'm still learning 5e.
no, I understand. So the rogue, if you dash, you can do that with your bonus action.
Okay, then I'm gonna double dash, or not? Sorry, not double dash.
You're gonna move
I'm
and
gonna
then dash?
Yes.
Okay. I've got these locusts down here for those of you watching. Those are going to be the ones that were just released from... I guess they're not very visible for the stream. I will put a ring around them. But Therita, move and then dash, and then what's your action going to be?
Can I see her from right here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there a chance that I could rip off any bit of soft clothing that Zaris has, maybe, or that I have, or something, and soak it in oil?
Yeah, that is definitely a thing you could do.
I'm
Do you
trying to
have
make-
do you have an oil flask?
I have 2.
Okay, yes, then that is definitely something you could do.
Okay, can I light it and throw it at her? Or am I too far away?
You are. Well, I mean, that's a question of the check. So you are not too far away, but you are to throw it, but you are far enough away that you would have disadvantage.
I'm gonna try it anyway.
Remember that part of inspiration.
Indeed. So go ahead. In this case, give me a ranged attack roll. I'll give you proficiency on it because it is a flask of oil. It's not something you wouldn't be so unfamiliar with.
How do I do that?
It would just
Just
be
a-
it would be the equivalent of you rolling one of your short bow attacks.
Would that trigger the guiding bolt advantage, or would that be triggered on a?
I believe, unfortunately, because that guiding bolt, it only goes until the next. Let me double check on that.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It only goes until the next turn and not the next
Yeah.
attack strictly. End of your next turn. Yeah, so unfortunately that would have expired. That 15 is going to be enough to send that flask of oil hurtling towards the Naga's position, but it is, remember, at disadvantage, so I need you to roll again.
And do I add the bardic inspiration still?
To whichever one you want, but we'll see. We need to see what the other attack roll is.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I mean, that the 15 is going to be the lesser of the 2 rolls, so even with disadvantage, you're going to be able to hit this thing without inspiration.
All right.
That's going to cause the flask of oil to basically pour out onto this thing as it lands, the fire spreading across the ground and causing some distress for this Naga. Go ahead. Let me double check here. I believe it's 36s. Oh no, it's just a flat 5. It's just 5 fire damage. It's no roll for it. So this thing is going to take 5 fire damage, and it will continue to take fire damage unless it is willing to move. So Therita, that's your movement, your dash, and then your action to throw that flask of oil after igniting it. I'm going to drop this fire there down onto the ground because that's where the oil is currently burning. That is going to then be the end of your turn, as those locusts are going to now kick into effect. And Therita, I'm sad to inform you that those locusts, being uncontrollable and flesh hungry, and currently only having both you and Zaris to choose from, are going to potentially choose you as their next victim. It looks like for the time being, they are going to distract themselves and go to feed on the dead wizard. But in doing so, you're going to see that they are immediately going to start like growing in size as they start like sucking the blood and ripping the flesh out of this mage who had once carried them around in his pocket, and look like they're also actively in the process of laying more eggs in his corpse. These things being vicious, city-destroying animals that are famously all over the deserts of Aladora and cause quite a problem for the residents there. That is going to be the end of your turn. And then we have the Naga now, who is dealing with her situation. She's got still quite a bit of options in front of her.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Let me see. Bum, bum, bum. All right. She's just going to have to... That... Oh, that is rough. Okay, so the Naga is going to make an athletics check to try. Nice. The Naga is going to take a coiled leap off of this upper cliff area here, and because of her larger size, it is going to allow her to travel a bit further, and she is going to land, and Lupe, you are going to be the recipient of several attacks here. It looks like the first one is going to hit. Lupe, you're going to take a total of 13 damage. Are you up or down at this point?
Sorry, roll 20's been a little... Did you say 13?
I did say 13.
I'm really starting to hate this Naga. I am down.
All right. Go ahead and give me a death saving throw, Lupe. You are currently 1 for 1 on those. Or sorry, not 1 for 1. You've missed 1 death saving throw so far. And that is 2 now. Lupe is down to 2 death saving throws. And the Naga, still having more attacks left, is not going to be in the mood to spare people. Lupe, I'm sorry to inform you, but after perhaps saving the life of 2 of your companions, the Naga is going to attack you while you are down. And that is going to be your 3rd death saving throw failure. I'm sorry, my friend. The halfling's song ends prematurely, as he is going to be yet another distraction, hopefully, for the rest of the party to either down this beast or flee. From there, the Naga's turn is going to have very little left in it because of her attack and then her move. So she is going to basically be able to shift about 5 feet and try and like take a little bit of cover behind that boulder, but it's not much. So she's at about quarter cover right now, and then we pass to Lupe, who is unfortunately no longer. And then we pass to Detlin. Detlin, the Dragonborn, and Jasir, the Dragonborn, not far away as they watch their companion go down. You have choices in front of you as you now kind of have this kind of walled off corner here to obscure your vision from the Naga, as well as the cavern expanding behind you with plenty of room to run. What do you do, Detlin? I see that light crossbow attack of 13. And that is going to be that. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just realized, Jasir, while you would not have had to make a concentration check for the spiritual weapon, you would have to make it for your bless. So I will need that concentrate, which is relevant here because that will or won't prevent that short bow attack from going through.
So would that one that I used for Bardic Inspiration carry?
What do you mean?
Or so, Sorry. Oh, never mind. Completely different thing.
Okay, yeah, I just double checking. So it'll be a Constitution save. Right, it's not a particularly hard one. That passes with ease. So Detlin's bless is still active, and that bless is gonna go. So Detlin, that crossbow is gonna fire and think, kind of skewer a little bit more of the Naga's skin and cause a gouge in her flesh. But that is gonna be it. And then from there, Detlin, I see you moving, and that is going to be it, I imagine, for your turn. As we go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up.
One more.
Oh, yeah? Detlin? What you got? Oh, got it.
Second one.
Second wind. Getting that all-important HP as the Naga presses closer and closer.
Okay. Now I'm gonna use Shatter.
Okay. Alright. Jasir, how many second level spells do you have left?
That's the last one.
Okay, that was what I had by my count. That's why I ask.
Yeah.
It's, all right. Because there's always a good chance that I might have miscounted or somebody else might have miscounted. So I try and
that's my last spell slot in general.
Oh, woof. Okay, Shatter at 11 damage. She is going to, man, she is just the weakest willed Naga that has ever been. She is going to.
She failed it?
She is going to fail that save.
Okay, I'm gonna channel Divinity for 24 points of damage.
Okay, go for it.
But
20,
next I didn't.
24
Yeah,
points of damage. That is going to be significant as you see her ribs twist and bend, and you can hear the snapping of internal structures as well as the just bursting of seams and rivets on her armor. She's going to scream out in pain, but she is still standing, though she looks pretty rough. Jasir, that's your action. Anything else?
I'm gonna move a bit.
All right. From there, it looks like we'll probably have enough for one more turn of the initiative order before we go on the break. And then while we're on break, I'm going to draw for the 2 available player seats, and we'll get those people into the game, though they will be warping into the town square above where all of this is currently going on and be somewhat unable to aid for the time being. But I do want to get those players their chance into the game world. So starting back with now top of the order at Therida, Cliff Tumbler, what would you like to do over here by this cloud of ever-growing flesh-hungry locusts that are nesting in the body of your companion?
1, ew. 2, I'm going to be known as that crazy player by the end of this. I'm going to move. I might have to dash. Basically behind the fire and lure them to the fire to try and burn them.
Okay, you're going this way?
Yes.
So you will have to move, and dash will get you here because you're a dwarf.
Okay.
And then at that point, if you want to get behind it, you'll have to burn more economy.
I'm willing to do that.
All right. Then that is what's going to happen. And sure enough, as you do that, these locusts are going to begin pursuing you towards the pillar of smoke. But because of both the dark black, acrid smoke being let off by this oil, as well as their movement, these locusts are not going to be able to move and attack you in the same turn. They're just going to basically get to about here and then stop as I pan the stream over so everyone can see what's happening. And then from there, Therida, that is going to be all of your economy, unfortunately, because of that last little 15, 20 feet.
Okay.
And from there, we go to the Naga, who is not going to really want to stick around for those locusts, and with Therida being behind those rocks, is gonna just press forward. She's got some things to do. Let's see here. What do we got? Boom. Versus that. All right. The Naga is going to expend a move and then a dash. And then now dipping into some of her kind of valuable, like last-ditch efforts to try and prevent these players from getting a one-up on her, she is going to use her class ability and action surge. Detlin. One attack misses, the other attack hits. That is going to... Sorry, I had the wrong dice there for a second. 7 plus... So that's going to be a total of 12 damage, Detlin. But that is going to be it as we now pass over to your turn. Now engaged by the Naga proper and watching as she begins to pull out all the stops as she fears maybe these adventurers might have the potential to do her in should they get a couple more lucky strikes off. But she's willing to risk it as you can see the hatred in her eyes runs deep and red. So from there, we go on to Jasir. Jasir, you are up, sir.
Oh, sorry, was it Devlin's turn?
Oh, no, sorry, Detlin. I was looking at... Yep, that's my bad. That's
The
totally my
Dragonborn.
bad. Got excited there. 21 with a great sword. That's enough to hit.
Nice.
Detlin, give me that damage roll. It's a low... Whoo! All right, keeping it spicy. The greatsword is going to manage to carve into her flesh, sending scales and blood and chips of bone flying about the area. She screams. Detlin, what are you going to do?
As the sword comes down, he opens his jaws and just lets the fire roar.
I believe, did you not use your fire last session?
We long rested between now and then.
You short rested.
Oh, yes. All of his stuff comes back on short or long rest.
Right. Sorry. I was just looking at that. I always think that fire breath is a long rest thing for some reason. All right. So with that fire breath in order, she's going to make a dex save. And with that, she's going to be able to, for the most part, it looks like, ignore a good portion of it, but still 5 damage of fire is 5 damage of fire as she struggles and screams. Detlin, unless you're going to move, I think that's your economy.
I'm going to make her choose. She's going to get one.
Okay. So that means that Detlin is going to flee to the east there, using the nook of that space between the crumbled wall and the cliff there to perhaps maybe give himself some much needed cover. She is going to get an attack of opportunity in response. That attack is going to be successful, and let me get my... Detlin, you are going to take 15 damage as that greatsword all but impales you as you go to turn and try and back away, and even the momentary flitting of your eyes into the position that you're trying to get to is enough to create an opening for this demonic snake woman's speed to strike in with one of her twisting arms. Detlin, are you still with us?
I am.
Oh, Detlin endures. From there, we go to Jasir. You're going to have the last of the turn before we go on break. Jasir, what are you going to do?
All right, I am going to... Let's see. I'm going to hope that the saves continue to be poor, and I'm going to toll the dead.
All right. of course, now she starts pulling through. She's going to roll a
Yeah,
decent
I
save.
jinxed it.
And she's going to be able to survive that Toll the Dead. So that's your action.
All right, then I'll open my jaws and let loose my lightning breath.
All right. Is that a 30-foot line or a 40-foot line?
It's a 30.
All right,
Oh,
so
then I'm not close enough.
yeah, you'll have to get a little closer for that.
Okay, I'll take a step forward and do that.
All right. So that's 5 feet lost. Then now her saves are coming through on all of the bullshit stuff. Okay, so she's gonna be able to make the save on that, but go ahead and roll your damage because she'll still take half. All right. She screams in pain as you see the electricity arc up her body. Jassier, anything else for your turn?
As a bonus action, would I be able to? Oh, I just.
The breath weapon. The breath.
Yeah.
Breath weapon is your bonus action.
I'm moving back.
Okay, sliding back 25 feet. Ooh, we are getting tense. That goes now to the top of the order. I'm going to save this, though, as we are just over the 2-hour mark, and I like to do a little bit of a break for our players and our DM alike. In the break, I'm going to roll for the 2 contestants that are going to be coming into the game. These will be both primary player seats in the... And so I'm excited to see who makes it in as well. We will see who lives and who dies in this fight, as this Naga is getting down to just the bare bones, but still has a high enough AC and enough HP to do battle with these adventurers fairly ruggedly. That is going to bring us to a close for the time being. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Everybody else who's been watching, thank you so much for tuning in as we watch this boss battle play out for a potentially $500 reward to be split amongst the survivors of the fight, which is an important note, as it seems that we've already whittled the party down a ways. Who will live and who will die and who will get a precious stone at the end of the night, regardless of whether or not the cash prize is claimed? You'll have to stay tuned to find out. But also, please remember that this channel is as well raising money for rotating community charities, and we are in the process of selecting our next charity. We have it down to 3, and we're going to let the voting stay up on the Discord channel for just another day or two before we start officially rolling into that direction. But know that everything that our players are putting up with and trying to deal with and surviving right now is not only for themselves, but also for a good cause. So if you have any want to see exactly what happens to this adventuring band, I recommend you stick around and find out on the rest of this episode of the Guild of Mazes presents So, You Think You Can Quest? Hello. If you're watching this, chances are you're not joining us live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sundays or Tuesdays at the Twitch channel below this video, where you could be a part of the action as a fan, or better yet, as a contestant, outsmarting the Guardian that our contestants are currently fighting. Now that you have this metagame knowledge, get into the game, compete against the Naga, slay her, earn your cash prize as the greatest adventurer yet. Or don't. Sit there, idly by as these fools continue to be slain, and you do nothing to prove that you are any better than they are.
There's a bullet down there, I ain't scared. She lighting this cube, split in two, reduce to loose. I can't lose. Go ahead, boy, make a move, cause you're fighter for the slide. I don't need no modifier to compensate. It's too late, I salsa, he just sealed your fate. Cause I'm rolling 20s like a 68 Impala. AC doesn't matter, critical damage from my warhammer. I throw the big 2 against every single from that cross. Mama falls on my mighty blow. I lay 'em low, yes I lay 'em low.
Live. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We are back again. I am getting everybody set up and in place. We are being joined by Sly Ty and Kefioso, aka Inel Nasera, and I believe one Kudrini Salkadora, which is funny that one of the Aladorians just replaced the other Aladorian, which is why they have similar last names. I couldn't have planned that. That's just the coincidence of the dice. I think that's kind of funny, as we've still got the nationality represented here. Now, we are going to basically touch in really quickly with our players who are warping into the town square, hundreds of feet up above the current action in the waning evening sky, as they know, thanks to their guild briefing before having been shoved through the teleporter in the Hall of Gathering, exactly what's going on below their feet, but their teleportation not being sophisticated enough to get them exactly down there. They are now stranded, effectively. Might as well be on the moon for as much good as they can do those who are locked in life and death combat down below. Inel Nasera, I'm going to get your token adjusted as well as your name tag here in just a second, but thank you for joining us, as well as Kudrini. What would you two like to just kind of immediately start doing while what's going on down below plays out, so that I've got a general idea of your time frame?
So, I think we should start doing the circle, because what the guild told us is our friends are in deep trouble. So,
Yeah, I agree.
let's do a circle.
Sounds good.
Okay. So with that, it sounds like you will begin the ritual of teleportation to try.
I'm doing it in the basement of the church, if possible.
Yeah, that's absolutely possible. You are going to be able to get that accomplished. Well, I mean, not accomplished, but started, certainly, as it is just kind of a natural thing that you have drilled into your mind over and over and over again while at Guild Academy. And that means that the two of you, if you're getting that going, are going to be spoken for a little bit of time, as we now pass over to our combatants deep beneath the surface of Eidolon, underneath hundreds of feet of stone and primordial masonry. We find Therida Cliff Tumbler and her companions in a frantic battle to try and overcome the last of this Naga's HP before she destroys them. Therida, what would you like to do?
I am going to dash and then shoot my crossbow at her.
All right. Got it. That 20 is going to be enough to hit. And given the circumstances, that is also going to functionally count as a sneak attack, as she was unaware of the angle from which that was going to be coming. So go ahead and roll your sneak attack damage as you roll the rest of your damage dice. Dun, dun. NL as I find your... There we go.
I do believe that is 12 total damage.
That is 12 total damage. As... Let me make sure I get that off the creature's HP. That arrow is going to do enough to stagger her. You watch her now, for the first time, really pay attention to this thing as she reaches with one of her spare hands and tries to wrench the thing free of herself. Unhappy about her situation, you can see her begin to kind of sag to one side, her arms beginning to droop a little, but still maintaining her guard. And Therita, that is your movement and your... You would have had to have dashed to get there. So
I think I'm done.
Yeah, that is going to be it. And let me, of course, adjust these locusts as they are going to begin kind of parting directions, some going north and some going south. So you are going to get pursued a little bit, but I want to finish getting these name tags relabeled before I worry too much about anything else. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep getting distracted. All right, Lupe, you are no longer. You are now rise as Inel Nasera. Oh, and of course now my, keyboard wants to lag on me. Thank you. Okay, as well as Zaris, you are no more, but we are joined by another one of your Aladorian brethren, and you are... Not Kadrini, as I've been saying with so many D's up to this point. There is no D in that name. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad man. All right, it is Karini. And from there, we now go to the Locusts, who are going to be splitting north and south. Some of them headed towards Lupe's body. The others are going to head south. And the real check is to see whether or not they're going to pursue Therita, or whether or not she is going to have... Oh, they're going to pursue her. They do not have enough to get up to her and also attack, but they are going to be a constant kind of humming and buzzing in your ear, Therita, as they get near to you, and you're going to, like, you can hear them looming over your shoulders, and you can see the shadow of them beginning to form on the rock. That is going to be your turn then, as we go now north to the Naga and her decision, which is
That's not ominous at all.
which is not much of a decision at all, really, considering what lies in front of her, as she would have to double move to get to the cleric, whereas she only has to make a single movement to get to the Dragonborn and unleash the full fury of her attacks. The first attack is going to be successful. Detlin, you take a total of 11 damage.
Still up.
The second attack is not successful. Third attack is not successful. The fourth attack is successful. Detlin, you are going to take 16 damage as she swings for almost max with this last one. Okay.
Down.
Detlin, go ahead and give me that. All right, that is one failed death saving throw. She has no attacks left with which to finish this job or at all express her ire towards this Dragonborn that has put so many crossbow bolts into her, or otherwise distracted her or carved from her flesh with its greatsword. And as she has, let me double check really quick here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, yeah, no, she has just 5 feet of movement left. and she is going to tuck herself in here and squat down behind this wall in such a way that she is going to be granted Jasir, from your current angle, she'll have about half cover. Therita, from your angle as well, she will now be obscured because that boulder lies in your way. So this will... wrong tool. This will not be sustainable. You'll have to move around to hit her in the future. As well as Jasir, she's currently got a pretty good angle away from you at this point. Actually, let me look at that. You might not even be able to see her. Okay, yeah, you can see some of her hands, kind of, and like the tip of her shoulder armor, but you can't really see her too much at this point. That's actually closer to 3/4 cover. So then from there, the Naga's turn ends. We go to Detlin Ruby, who I will ask to make another of death saving throw. This one a success. Our Dragonborn fighting for his life, 1 for 1. And that goes now to Jasir, north of the Naga. What are you going to do?
Would I have like a better line of sight from like where that arrow is?
Yes, you would have a better line of sight from where that arrow is. That's pretty much like, that's what you'd have to... From there, you'd be able to cast projectiles.
Okay.
Effectively.
So I'll do 10 movement.
Okay.
Gonna shoot off a crossbow.
All right. That crossbow is going to be a natural 20 as Jasir and his nat 20s have managed to really turn the tide of this combat over the course of the evening. What with that guiding bolt and also the max damage shatters thanks to his fealty to the goddess of death, Namara. That's going to be 14 damage. That, you'll see, drives deep into the Naga's flesh as she struggles to stay up. Still alive. Now, Jasir, that's your attack. You've got a bonus action left. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my movement.
Okay.
You have cantrips? Can you use or?
I don't have any bonus action cantrips.
Ah, damn.
Gonna double check that real quick.
As he pulls up his character sheet. Hey man, I will. You've been decisive enough so far that I'll buy you this time to look at your.
Yeah, I absolutely do not.
All right, thank you.
But I have 20 feet of movement.
Okay. Feel free to adjust your token as you will, as we now pass it over to Therita. Therita, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to do the exact same thing I did my last turn. I'm going to dash, and then I'm going to shoot at her with my crossbow.
Okay.
Nope, short bow, still.
All right. Unfortunately, because she has ducked down behind that cliff, that direction is not going to yield the best results. So this attack will be, it would be with disadvantage. No, and she knows that you're there. So yeah, it's just at disadvantage.
Okay.
So that's 10. Go ahead and roll again.
Sorry, I already had it loaded when you said disadvantage.
It's fine. No, you can always feel free to always click again and just do the 2 rolls separately. It's easy enough. So roll that short bow one more time. Okay, so yeah, the 10 is what we'll take because of the disadvantage, and so that is not going to be enough to hit her, as that arrow is going to kind of just skitter off the edge of the cliff and kind of go wild because the shaft of it will bounce off a rock and cause it to kind of just lose its momentum and go astray. Therita, that is, let me double check there. That was a move and dash and then fire, it looks like, by judging by the ground covered. So that's going to be your economy. Is there anything else for Or is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. So, with that, looking at what is currently going on, the Naga is going to do something a little bit more unheard of, and she is going to spend her turn moving now behind the wall, ducking low, slithering upon her belly, and she is going to begin to make a stealth check to disappear from the line of sight of either one of our party members. Therita, I am going to adjust your vision right now because of your position. You can see some of what is not currently exposed land, so I will move that. However, based on her stealth roll and the party's passive perceptions, it looks like she is going to effectively, for the time being, disappear from sight, managing to tuck up behind the massive ruins. And what with both of you just having dark vision and there not being anything to illuminate this area of the cave, she is effectively both out of your eyesight and doing a decent attempt at remaining hidden. So, Therita, that is going to be the end of... Sorry, I was a little behind there. The Naga's turn as she disappears from sight. And then we go to Detlin Ruby, who makes a successful death saving throw. So that's 2 for 1. And then we go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up, sir.
Alright, I'm gonna use my movement. And then I will I'll ready a crossbow shot if she pops up in range.
Okay, you got it. Jasir backs up. Meanwhile, that then passes us over to Therita again rather quickly. I forgot to move your locusts last turn. They're going to continue to pursue you. That turn, they will be able to get up to you, but not attack you. So they're going to be within threatening distance at the beginning of your turn. I'm also moving the locusts now onto Lupe's body as they are going to begin to feed there and grow into number. So that is going to be their turn of last turn. Sorry. So now Therita, top of the order, please go for it.
Okay, I'm going to... Sorry, hang on. My Roll20 is being weird.
You're fine.
So, we saw she kind of generally disappeared around here, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to move. Well, actually, is disengaging, like... I don't know how free... Are there free actions in 5e? Or is
there
that
are
just
free actions, but they're limited to pretty nominal things, like flipping a switch or grabbing a torch off a wall. With the rogue, you can disengage as a bonus action, however, as a feature of your class.
Okay, I'm going to disengage with the locust, and then I'm going to move my regular movement.
Okay. So that's 25. Go ahead and slide your token wherever you want.
And,
oh, that's 30. Sorry.
Oh, that's 30?
Yep.
Oh, gee. I'll move one back.
Oh, thank you much. So with that, you've got your action left. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try and take a blind shot in the dark, quite literally. I'm going to try and shoot in the general area and hope that I hit her. Is that even possible?
All right.
You dash with your action?
Well, I'm technically attacking, so I thought that would be an action. Am I wrong?
If you're attacking, it would be an action.
Yeah, and you said I had my action left, right? Yeah, okay.
However, so you're attacking the locusts? Sorry, I had to read a couple things there. I might have missed something.
No, I'm going to literally try and shoot her blind. Like, I'm going to shoot in the general area that she
Oh,
disappeared
got it. All right, that was the part that I missed. I knew there was a modifier to that sentence that my brain was trying to pull up retroactively. Thank you very much. So, with that, you have your attack. Go ahead. You're gonna be rolling at disadvantage and also with a penalty. But go ahead and make your rolls. We'll see what happens. You never know. You could get 2 natural 20s and end this thing right now. She certainly would be surprised. Oof. With the disadvantage, that is going to be a natural 1. Rolling for variance. It looks like, Therita, your bowstring is going to snap as you go to fire this arrow, and it just goes wild, and you hear the thing pop. And fortunately, it's not... By snap, I guess I don't mean break. It's going to come free of the loop that it's on, and you're going to have to reset it here, and that will take you an action in a later turn if you want to continue using your bow.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
All right, so that's your attack, your movement, and your disengage. So, Therita, that's the end of your turn. We now go to the Naga, who has some important decisions to make about how she feels regarding, vengeance and this party and, murdering people. So she is going to, given this situation... She is going to return and just temporarily emerging from her hiding place. It looks like she will actually be able to successfully obscure herself versus Therita and Jasir and conceal this as Detlin. She is going to be able to successfully hit you with 2 melee attacks. I'm sorry, my friend, but the Naga is going to return to finish the job. And our Dragonborn, who has fought so nobly up until now, and been the stalwart bastion that has charged into combat, is now slain. From there, the Naga has but only the economy left to flatten herself out against the ground and the cliff face, and not enough to try and hide or move once more. So, Detlin, as you go, you may provide yet the crucial timing needed for her to be slain, but Jasir, at this point, you cannot see her.
All right. Hearing the dying roar of my dragonborn companion, I'm gonna head back towards the source of the sound.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm gonna, using my bonus action, I'm gonna scream out, "Coward, come out and fight us!" And I'll ready a crossbow shot if she pops up.
Okay. Got it. Jessica, that's your turn. Therita, we go to your turn now. You know that she is there, but she basically crept up to Detlin and attacked him with her just 2 of her 8. Well, sorry, 2 sets of her 8 arms, keeping her from getting off the ground. So she is, for all intents and purposes, almost completely out of sight to you right now. And you'd have to advance towards the edge of that cliff in order to attack her. Meanwhile, the locusts are going to continue pursuing you, and these locusts over here, having now fed and grown in size, are going to have a choice to make about where they're going to go. It looks like, given the options presented, they're going to start flying towards the Naga. But Therita, what are you doing at this time?
I'm gonna Restring. Well.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No. I was calculating things in my head. Go for it.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to disengage
All right.
with the locust again. And I'm gonna move.
Go ahead and shift your 5 tiles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you can get. Yeah, that's only 20. I mean, feel free to not use it. I just.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use my last action to restring my bow.
Okay, got it. Restringing your bow is going to be basically an action that doesn't require a check. You just have to spend the economy, and that is going to be enough to get that accomplished. From there, Therita. Oh, this is tempting, but this Naga is going to know better. Maybe. Yes. Okay, this Naga is not going to risk these locusts for the time being, and is going to disappear behind this wall and effectively get out of both of your visions and also hide, obscuring her presence on the map from either Jasir or Therita for the time being. That is going to pass us to Jasir. Jasir, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I'm gonna take a shot at the locusts.
Okay.
These ones.
Yep. The 14 is enough to break their AC. All right. However, the trueness of your shot is kind of cut short by the fact that the piercing damage does not seem to be that effective against this swarm of bugs that are more or less fairly fine. You manage to skewer a couple of them to the wall, but out of their number, it seems that you're going to have to come up with some better method of attack if you hope that to be, effective.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was my action. Can I ready an action as a bonus? No, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. From there, that is going to pass us over to Therita. Now having some purchase, those locusts will have moved, and these ones are also going to have now gone over to Detlin to feed, so that is going to be them swarming up. And Therita, you're going to get lucky in that the locust swarm does not manage to do any damage on this first turn. It descends upon you, and you're able to kind of just batter it away as it's almost like testing you to see if you'll be an easy meal at the moment. But its attack is rather inefficient and doesn't really do any damage to you for the time being. But were you to get, even but a few of these things going for your vital areas, your lifespan could be shortened rather immediately. Therita, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
I'm going to run back over to that fire to try and get rid of these locusts.
Okay. Going back to the fire.
How do you do the measurement thing? I can't
so
figure
the
that out.
upside down Q on your toolbar to the far left of the screen, it's called the snap to center tool.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, then all you have to do is click, and it'll start the arrow, and you can drag it. And if you right-click, you can then also make waypoints for kind of, complex movement. There you go.
It's 55 feet, right?
50. I believe. Yeah, because you're a dwarf. So 25 and 25. All right, and that's gonna get you down there, Therita. These locusts now have... Alright, these locusts are going to chase after, and because of the distance, are not going to be able to also attack in the same... Hold on, let me check. Let me double check that before I... Oh, those locusts are going to be able to attack Therita. Therita, you're going to take 3 damage.
I'm still up.
She is still up. However, now this larger swarm of locusts down here is going to have fed on Detlin for the time being, and is going to have to make the decision between Jasir and the Naga. The Naga, however, has managed to conceal itself quite well, and Jasir, for the time being, is still out in the open. So they are going to expend all of their movement in a move and dash, and they're going to head towards the Dragonborn. From there, we go to Jasir. Sir?
Yeah. Would the locusts be able to, like... Would they have to fly around this, or would they be able to just, like, go right through that?
Oh, they'd have to fly around it. That masonry is still intact enough.
Got it. Alright, I'm gonna move and dash.
Okay. Moving and dashing. It's getting tense. It's getting tense.
And I'm just gonna again scream, like, "You call yourself a guardian? I'm going to the door right now. Come and stop me."
Okay. Ooh, that's not a bad taunt, Jasir, as that is gonna end your turn for the time being. We now get to Therita. Therita, it is your turn. Your locusts, it seems like, have managed to close the distance and are still threatening you. What would you like to do for your turn?
I'm gonna run again.
Okay, you got it. And disengage, move and dash. Is that the order of the day?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and make your movement. And I'm gonna just double check. Yep, I see you measuring. Go ahead, slide on over. Then your locusts will, now that they are gonna actually lose, they're gonna lose a little bit of ground to you, as they cannot go quite as far in the same turn, having only gained that ground because you had to go up and then turn around in that U-bend. The locusts are now just outside of your movement. These locusts, however, up here are having now gotten a bead on Jasir. Let me double check, but that's going to be bang. And okay, so yeah, they're not going to be able to get to him and be on top of him, but Jasir, they're going to get right next to you, as that means that you are now threatened by this swarm. They are not attacking, but they are certainly threatening. And that is the end of Therita's turn, as we pass now over to the Naga, who I'm going to, 1 second, all of this, make a quick perception roll. Oh, damn. All right, so that means the Naga is going to be able to just keep on keeping on. Go ahead as that moves on now. We go to Jasir. Jasir, you're being threatened by this swarm. You are sprinting back towards the door, obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the opportunity to attack. I'm gonna move and dash.
All right.
I'll go here.
Jasir, that opportunity attack is not going to be successful, as it is going to unfortunately just bounce basically off of your scales, as the locust's teeth are not enough to get through your dragonborn hide. I see that you've now slid down somewhat further to the south. That is going to pass it over to Therita. Therita,
I'm gonna scream out. This door is sure looking nice and unguarded.
What door are you talking about?
all right. Therita, not exactly sure what's going on. What are you going to do at this point? You've managed to put a little bit of distance between you and your locusts.
I'm gonna keep running. And they're not in my threat area,
No.
right? Okay. Then I'm gonna keep running.
So, double dash and a move.
I think.
All right, that'll be 75 feet of total movement. Go ahead and shift your token. In the meantime, I know for a fact that the locusts that are on Jasir are going to continue heading towards him. They are going to be able to scoop up a little bit of an advantage because they don't have to break around that boulder and are going to be able to just smoothly go over it via their flying. So Jasir, they are going to manage to close a bit of the distance there, but that is still going to make them not close enough to attack you. Let me do another measurement real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, okay, cool. And Therita, feel free to... I saw you take the measurement if you want to move your token. Cool. Then those locusts are also now going to take the path as the crow flies and move up over this boulder and head towards her, but only get to about this far because the vertical distance there was rather steeper than the one that they went over when they were chasing Jasir just a moment ago. So that's going to be the end of the locusts on Therita's turn. We now go to the Naga, who is going to continue unspotted for the moment as she draws her deadly perimeter around the party. Is she going to the west? Is she going to the east? Is she just going to lick her wounds and go away and hope that these flesh-eating locusts consume the rest of them? We'll have to find out. But that is going to be her turn, and we go now to Jasir. Jasir, you're fleeing up the steps towards this giant steel door. What do you want to do?
All right. So with whatever action, bonus action, economy I need to use, I want to take out a torch and an oil flask, and like toss like the oil and the torch at the locusts.
Okay, so that'll just be a full action.
Okay.
Go ahead and give me, it'll be a ranged attack, effectively. It'll be Dex plus proficiency, and all right, 11. So, all right, 14, that's better. That is going to manage to throw out a 5-foot square of fire into the center of that swarm of locusts and do some damage, as it is only 5 fire by the rules, but because of these locusts being a little bit more particularly obviously sensitive to the smoke and flame, you're going to see their number get fairly reduced as the swarm now shrinks in size. Jasir, that's your action. What would you like to do with your movement or your bonus for now?
Keep headed to the door.
Okay, heading to the door. Then that is going to bring us to Therita. Therita, You see your dragonborn companion managing to skirt over earth and stone and make their way towards the door. What do you want to do here?
I'm going to
Oh, that's strange.
take out a torch, kind of do the same thing, but light it and carry it with me so I can use it as like a defense mechanism.
Okay.
If that's possible.
You can totally light a torch and carry it with you.
Okay. And then, if possible, use... Well, I say if possible, sorry. I'm going to move closer to... Jaskier? I can't pronounce today.
Jassir.
Thank you. And start following him.
All right. Got it. Now, that is going to be your economy for the time being. And let's see here. That will bring us now to the locusts at the end of your turn. Those locusts are going to continue to fly. Let me take a measurement there, actually, before I get too cocky. I'm pretty good at eyeballing, but they're going to have to weave a little bit south. So just shy of 50 feet when they move and dash. They're going to get to about here. Meanwhile, the ones to the south are going to be able to continue flying and not have to suffer sort of the vertical terrain issue there. And with a move and a dash, they will actually be able to get straight up onto Detlin. And, sorry, not Detlin, but Jassir, without the ability to attack for that turn. And Therita, you moved, you lit your torch, you still had a bonus action left. I might have taken that from you. Did you do anything with that specifically?
Oh no, I thought like taking the torch out was the bonus action.
No, taking a torch out is like a free action. That's a good example. Lighting it would be between an action and a bonus action depending on the circumstances. But so like pulling it out, lighting it, that's an action because you obviously have to. Right, I guess with that fire there, pulling it out and lighting it, you still have your action left. I'm sorry, that's.
Oh, okay.
Because you were pulling it off of an ignition source that was already there. So you just had to wave it through the flame. You didn't have to like spark it with flint and tinder. So, yeah, you would have your action left at this point.
Okay. And I can use that to move again, right?
Yeah, as a rogue, that is something you can do.
Okay, then I'm going to do that.
Got it.
Kind of run up right against that pillar for now. I only have 1 hit point.
I understand. That is going to bring it to the Naga's turn, and you are going to see as, to your horror, it looks like the Naga has stalked you up the cliffside and has lingered in the shadows as you've fled around this plateau, clinging to the walls and far outside of your dark vision. Now, as she approaches, she is going to reveal herself emerging from the shadows. You notice that her scales seem to almost reflect the shadow around her in a way that aids her in concealing herself. What with having the qualities that she does, being an Naga, she is well adapted to concealing herself in dark places. From there, double check this movement. Yeah, so she is not going to be able to get to you, but she is going to be able to get this close, and she is going to rear back and attempt to nail you with her acid spit, Therita. And she's going to miss wildly as the venom goes far over your head and lands sizzling on the stones somewhere beyond your vision. But now you see the Naga has rejoined you. Also, it looks like she has, while still a severe amount of wounds on her body, you see that it looks like she's managed to staunch the flow of at least some of the more mortal wounds and remove some of the arrows, and she seems in slightly better shape. Though that is going to pass it on now to Jasir, as Jasir, you are going to...
Sorry to interrupt.
What's up?
Pythia says that the music is a little quiet.
Oh, appreciate it. This track does kind of ebb and flow, so I'm trying not to drown people, but I'll turn it up. Jasir, you are up, sir. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take a shot at her with my crossbow.
All right. Those locusts are really pressing the party right now. I was not expecting that to turn into something here. So that is going to be 18. That is enough to hit. That is going to be 6 damage, which is enough to certainly cause her alarm at thinking that she had managed to... come back refreshed enough. That 6 damage goes immediately, the crossbow bolt goes immediately into her stomach, and she recoils, the pain far worse than she was expecting. But she's up. Jasir, that's your attack. Are you moving? What's your bonus action like?
Yeah, that's 30.
All right, so that's going to provoke an attack of opportunity from the swarm.
Yep, I'll take it.
That is going to hit this time. As Jasir, you're going to take only 4 damage. These things don't hit for that much. They are kind of they rely on more of like an engulf tactic. So
okay. Can I use my reaction to Wrath of the Storm? Let me pop that in the chat.
Yeah.
Dex saving throw over 2d8.
Yep, absolutely. It is going to fail that dexterity saving throw, and that 2d8 thunder damage is going to ripple throughout the locust swarm like so much static electricity, and you'll see dozens of them just fry and begin to drop to the ground en masse, reducing the size of the swarm and its efficacy. All right, Jasir, from there, we pass it on to Therita. Therita, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I would like to switch to my bow and shoot her.
Go ahead. Make that attack roll. Thank you for bearing with us, everybody, in this most epic of combats, both our new contestants and anybody who's watching us and waiting to see if they get rolled into the game.
Oops.
We are at a tense moment here as our companions are on the cusp of either greatness or certain defeat. That 7 is...
Sorry, I realized I rolled a disadvantage by accident.
That's fine. But that 7 was still the first roll, so it's what would have happened even if you had rolled it normally. So that is going to represent a miss as your arrow bounces off of her iron breastplate. Therita, you've got your bonus and your movement. What do you want to do?
Is there any possible way that I could use those to make another attack?
Unfortunately, not at a distance. You'd have to use your bonus attack if you wanted to dual wield. And with the time that you've got, I mean, unless you've got something up your sleeve I don't know about.
No. I'll just move then.
All right. Therita, that means that after your turn, these locusts are going to not actually want to attack our Dragonborn Jasir after having been fried to death. So they're actually going to go straight for you, as well as these ones are going to continue to move forward. They're going to get to here and about to basically rejoin up with that swarm, but they will not have the ability to move and attack in the same turn. So while this swarm is going to get larger, it's only going to attack at half strength for the time being. Hold on, let me get that scaled down. There we go, that's a little better.
Like, Jesus Christ.
No, that got out of hand.
I was about to start crying.
So again, it's only attacking you currently at half strength. Let's see. Sometimes those look numbered. That is a 6 on the die, plus its modifier. Therita, that is not going to hit you for the time being. You are going to be safe. But that does pass it over now to the Naga, which I cannot guarantee your safety from. Who is looking at this situation? She is going to advance her movement, and then she is going to attempt to use her acid spit once more on Therita. And this time it is going to land. Therita, you take 8 points of poison damage.
I'm down. I only had 1 hit point left.
I'm sorry. That is going to extinguish now our 4th player for the evening, as it seems like it comes down to now Jasir and this Naga. Or actually, no, she's not dead yet. Give me a death saving throw. What am I talking about? Who knows? That's 1 success. All right. Then at the end of your turn... Well, sorry, no, because that was the Naga's turn. So then that's an attack. That's her movement. That's basically what the Naga has. We go to Jasir now. Jasir?
All right. Let's take another shot at the Naga.
Okay.
Wow, these blesses are not helping me.
1 plus...
Come on.
11. That is not going to be enough.
Okay. Can I, with my bonus action, could I do anything like throw another torch or oil or wave anything around?
You can wave your torch around at the locusts, which might have some effect, but without another flask of oil or anything.
I have 2 more flasks of
You have
oil.
2 more flasks of oil. You could get one. You could basically prep it so using it next turn would be a bonus rather than a full action.
Let's do that.
But that's as much as you can get. Are you gonna
Okay.
move?
Yeah, I'm gonna prep the oil and move 30
Okay,
feet.
got it. So that is going to bring us now, after Jasir, to Therita. Therita, give us a death saving throw. 1 success or 1 failure. We shall see. You currently stand, I believe, 9. All right, Therita, that is going to be...
That's my second fail.
That's your second fail. Okay, I was just checking. That's going to be enough to keep you alive for the time being, but one more like that, and you will not be with us much longer. These locusts, however, now have the decision to make between Jasir and Therita.
Or the Naga.
And, oh yeah, or the Naga. But the locusts are going to descend upon Therita. And unfortunately, Therita, that is going to be a failure of a death saving throw. And they are going to continue to feed and grow larger. Therita, thank you for playing with us. And your noble sacrifice may yet still enable Jasir to walk away with all of the money. Oh, man, that is 4 players dead in a single session. This Naga and these locusts are proving to be a little bit too much in tandem. And that is going to be the end of Therita's turn. We go now to the Naga, who, watching as these locusts continue to grow in strength and size, is actually going to... she is going to not... All right, pardon my French. This is not a good look for her. This is really not a good look for her. She can either get up to Jasir or... Oh, this is not good. Discretion is the better part of valor. She's getting out of there. The Naga is going to use her movement to get away and then crouch behind this boulder. Passing it on to Jasir. Jasir, you are up, sir.
Ugh, these locusts.
If it weren't for these locusts, though, right?
Okay. What's my best option here?
All right. And now, thank you for bearing with us for this time being, folks. We've got important decisions playing out right now as...
I had my the oil prepped.
Mm-hmm.
So let's toss that fire over there.
Oh, Jasir, I'm sorry. I'm also going to need you to make a concentration check for your bless. I just remembered the locusts hit you that other turn.
Yeah.
All right, and so you're going to toss the fire at the locusts.
Nope.
Your bless is going to go out on you. And go ahead and give me that the throw as... All right, the oil will land true, and despite the fact that it brings you no joy, you manage to catch a good deal of the locusts as they had descended to feed upon your companion, and igniting her body and perhaps sparing her a fate worse than death. You are able to take a few out and effectively shrink the size of that locust cloud.
Far scribe.
Yep. What's up?
Didn't she got a bottle of oil in her inventory?
Sorry, what?
I think she did have a bowl of oil on her. So
She had
She did.
a flask of oil, you mean?
yes, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, she had a flask of oil on her. At the time, though, it is currently inside of a sealed container. So while that might begin to burn, it will not ignite immediately.
All right.
No, I do appreciate you pointing that out. These things do matter. Okay, so Jasir, they are going to...
So that was my bonus action.
So yeah, because you prepped it last turn, and so you didn't have to... So that's your bonus action to hurl that in your offhand. You've still got your crossbow.
Yeah. Let's...
And she has half cover right now.
Let's see what that range on the crossbow is.
You will be firing with disadvantage. I can just tell you that.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Because it's 80 feet.
Yeah. I'll do it.
All right. It's not going to be enough.
Nope, so I'll move... But where?
All right.
Let's do...
I'm gonna, while you're figuring that out, I'm gonna roll for 2 more questers to join us really quick. Everybody else out there, thank you for staying with for the time being. This has been a fairly raw night as far as quest is concerned. We've had a lot of people go down. I'm currently rolling to see who will be joining us. And it looks like this first roll is going to Icy Ghosts. Icy Ghosts, if you're out there. If you're currently watching, I'll give you a moment to respond. And then from there, Okay, cool. Changing. Yeah, Icy Ghosts got my message, so they will be joining us soon. Jasir, what have you... You've just moved? You're good to go?
Yeah.
All right, from there we go to the Naga. The Naga... Oh, actually,
Come
no.
at me.
Sorry, what?
Yelling at the Naga. Come at me.
Oh, yeah, actually, no. From there we go now to the Locusts. I'm going to make sure to add their turn so I don't forget about them, because they are technically between the two of you, because they're going on Therita's old turn. Those Locusts are going to... They will not be able to reach you. They're only going to get to about this far. And at this point, the Naga is going to begin disappearing. Well, actually, hold on. How much room does she got? Yeah, that is raw. That is a raw amount of distance. The Naga's going to roll a stealth check and attempt to... Oh, yeah. She's just going to disappear. You're going to see her duck down and begin slithering away behind these giant boulders and piles of rock, and you're going to lose track of her, Jasir, as you are also, in a fairly unilluminated cavern. There's only kind of some rough piles of oil here and there burning. You waving your torch around and looking desperately into the distance are only going to see shadow as the locusts draw closer and closer. It is going to be your turn. What do you want to do? I'm going to roll for that next open slot, as we have lost 4 players this evening.
Okay, so I have one more oil flask. It'd be I can prep it to use it as a bonus action next turn.
Yes, I will still allow that if you want to use a bonus action.
So let's... Alright, I'm gonna move and dash. Would I be able to... Yeah, I'm gonna... Yeah, I'll move and dash to the door.
Okay. Move and dash, and bonus action spent. That is going to... Hold on, I'm grabbing your token. Put this onto the map layer.
Is that like the end of my economy? Would I be able to try to open it at all?
Unfortunately not. These things are massive. It would be a full athletics check to attempt to open one of these doors.
Got it. Alright, then I'll have that oil prepped.
Okay, from there we go to the Locusts, who I believe... Oh yeah, they're going to go to Locust Town. They're going to descend on Jasir, but not be able to attack. And Jasir, you will find yourself now in the thick of them, as we then pass over to the Naga, who will be doing Naga things and moving along. You are only going to hear the ominous silence in the cavern as you fear what might be approaching you and from what angle your death might spring, but you still yet have no clue, Jasir, as you hopefully can fling open these doors behind you. We go now to your turn.
Alright, let's do that bonus action. I'm gonna drop the oil a couple spaces away from me in the center of that thing.
Okay.
So do I need to do another...
So yeah, go ahead and give me a ranged attack as you attempt to... Alright, that 15 is going to work, especially because it's basically just right next to you. You're going to drop yet another ball of oil, successfully not getting it onto yourself. And that will do more damage to these locusts, who are then going to shrink in size. Jasir, you're going to give me an athletics check to try and open that door. Is that what I understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let us see. Let us see. All right, Jasir, with that 19 athletics, you are going to begin heaving at this door to find that it is hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Were there another one of you there with you, the two of you could probably move this thing fairly easily, but as such, this thing is going to slide with a 19 only precious inches open, and it's not enough for you to worm your body through. Were you even a halfling, you might be able to fit through the gap, but not as a dragonborn of your current stature. It will require yet one more pull of mighty athletic strength in order to be able to accomplish this. With your bonus action and your action spent, you have your movement economy, but I don't necessarily think you're going anywhere.
Nope.
All right.
I'll brace myself for these locusts.
Jassir, it is now the locusts' turn, and as they go to engulf you, they are going to finally actually get a decent hit off. And Jassir, you are going to take a total of 6 damage. Or no, sorry, that's 6 on the die, so it'll be 7 damage total because I've got a +1 right now. Oh.
Then I'll use my reaction to zap them again.
All right, go ahead and roll that zap damage as I make the saving. This saving throw they're going to do much better on, and that 2 zap damage is not going to be much. So with the save and the 2, they are not going to shrink in size. And then...
Alright, that's my turn.
Jassir, we go now to the locusts. Oh, no, sorry, that was your reaction. So now we go to the Naga. And the Naga is going to use her movement to Jassir. You're going to see she begins to emerge up the stone steps, having slithered on her belly and gotten quite far, what with her snake-like abilities. But she is going to emerge there at the end of her movement, no longer able to conceal herself at the edges of your dark vision. But that is going to be the full, all of her action economy for that round, so she's going to be unable to affect you. Jassir, it is now your turn. You are in the middle of these locusts. What are you going to do?
If I were to be attacked by the locusts again, would I have my reaction at this point?
No, because you... Well, yes, because your turn has started, so your reaction has replenished.
Okay, let's... This is nuts.
All right, Icy Ghost, welcome to the game, by the way. I saw you slide in. I appreciate you taking the back seat right now while we get this combat resolved.
Would pushing the door be an action or a bonus?
The pushing the door at this point you could do it as a bonus or a full action, either one.
Could I do it as a bonus and a full action?
You mean to try? Unfortunately not.
Got it. Okay. So first things first, I'm gonna shoot the Naga.
All right. Priorities. Go ahead and roll with that crossbow. No! Jassir rolling for critical failure. Variance. Jassir, your crossbow is going to, as you try to fire it, get filled with the bodies of the locusts that are currently swarming you. And what is going to happen is that crossbow bolt is going to kind of skip the track and will end up kind of jamming sideways. You are going to take a total of only 2 damage from it, but that attack is not successful.
Okay, I'm gonna use my bonus action to try to open the door.
All right, give me that athletics check. Jassir, it's not enough, my friend. This door is too heavy at easily maybe a half a ton, if not more. It is not going to budge with only an 11. You can almost, like, force your arm into it and, like, waggle it into the darkness as you look beyond and try and get a glimpse of what might be on the other side, but...
That's my turn.
From there, we go to the locusts. The locusts are going to be able to attack for only 3 damage.
Alright, I'll use my reaction to give him my last and final zap.
They make the saving throw. So they are going to, with that though, now drop down to finally their original size as they get smaller and smaller. All right, and that is going to bring us over to the Naga, who is going to... Oh, yeah. Jasir, she is going to manage to charge up, but will have to dash in order to do so. So you are now basically going to be stuck there. Jasir, it is your turn, sir.
Okay,
There's not a lot to be done.
It's not a lot to be done. So let's... Can't do all of those things. Locusts are next, correct?
Locusts are next.
Okay, so I'm going to... Yeah, I'm gonna disengage.
Okay.
Um...
And, all right, having just rolled in the player roster once more, it looks like we will actually, as the RN Jesus has it, Captain Revenant, if you're out there, you just got pretty lucky, actually, in the space of a couple of days here. You just got pulled again. I am gonna be sending you a message. I don't know if you're currently watching, but we will see if you can get back to us.
Hoping that these locusts are not wanting to pursue me after being zapped 3 times and
All
see if
right.
it wants to take a chunk out of that Naga.
These locusts actually are going to start trying to harass that Naga and are going to do so fairly effectively as they begin to swarm about her and try and kind of tear at her flesh. She is going to take a little bit of damage. Okay. And using an athletics check to jump off of the stairs and cover that little extra 5 feet of movement, and also taking an attack of opportunity from the locusts, which are going to reduce her to such low HP. You can see her bleeding actively now from hundreds of cuts on her skin where these things have fed, and she is, just staggering up to you, Jasir, but she has her 2 attacks. The first one misses. The second one hits. And one of my damage dice just fell off the table.
It's gone.
Sorry, there we go. So that's going to be a total of, after the suspense, that's going to be 13 damage, sir.
Okay.
You up?
And
I'm up.
Jasir, it is your turn. Captain Revenant. I'm trying to get a message out to you real quick to see if you're around still. But, Jasir, what are you doing?
I'm gonna whack this Naga in the head with my masterwork flail. There we go.
21, 12 damage. Holy shit.
Please be dead.
This Naga is not dead. She has, and I'm gonna say this so that just everyone can hold me accountable to it, she has less than 20 health right now. You are on the cusp of greatness, Jasir. So, that is going to make it the Locust's turn. They are going to attack the Naga. The Locusts roll a 6 on the die, and they are going to miss the Naga this turn after having been successful last turn.
I'm so dead.
It is the Naga's turn. She has 4 attacks. The first one is a 2 on the dice. The second one is a 17, however, on the dice, and that is going to be 12 damage, Jasir.
I'm done.
And Jasir is down. And we have our second total party wipe of the game as the party breaks upon the rocks of the Guardian. Had they but maybe 2 more healing potions, or had they not underestimated the power of those flesh-hungry, uncontrollable locusts, had they even maybe 1 or 2 more successful damage rolls, or Jasir a 1 more decent athletics check to pry that door open, we might have a victor right now, but they, by a slim margin, have been defeated, and the Naga will reign for the time being.
I just got my death save.
She will get 2, make your death saving throw, but she's going to get 2 attacks with the rest of her turn. So you are now, you're going to be down to 1, and then it is going to be your turn, sir. I'm glad to let you play these out. I hate to deny a player. Right, that is 1 success. We're going to go down to the locusts, who are going to roll a 7 on the dice, and they are not going to be enough to deal damage to this Naga to stop you. And the Naga is going to be able to, in her next turn, claim your life, sir.
Godspeed.
Godspeed, Jasir. Godspeed, or goddesses speed, to all of our contestants who had joined us in this epic battle. So much has been learned, and I'm sure that the next party that will face this Naga will likely be triumphant based on all of the, well, how close of a call it was this time, and what they might have learned from her battle tactics and relative abilities, weaknesses, and strengths. Knowing that she has levels of fighter of some kind, as well as a poison immunity and a weakness to seemingly radiant damage and most magical attacks, the party, if they can come up with a battle plan, might easily see this creature slain in the coming days. We owe it all to our heroes who have fallen tonight to make it happen. I'm looking at the time, and I'm going to do 2 more. It looks like I have. I'll do 1 more drawing for the rotating 5th seat, and if Captain Revenant does not get back to me here in the next couple of minutes, I will then also draw for his seat again. So drawing for the 5th rotating seat that will, you'll get a full turn on the next session because we're in the last like 20 minutes, half hour of this game. It looks like out there in the audience, click, and Muller, actually. Muller, you will be joining us in the rotating seat. I am not. The numbers are doing weird things tonight. Captain Revenant has gotten in twice now in the last couple of days, despite having a fairly full competition against him. And we find Muller coming back now after having been out for less than an entire session. That is the rotating seat, however. So remember that you will be here for the next game, but then rotate out at the end of that. Let me get you rolls onto the guest here so you can join us. And I'm going to give Captain Revenant another minute or so before we potentially move on from that one. All right, Icy Ghosts, I know you've joined us, and I know I need to get you a character assigned, and I'm also going to shift around the Discord display capture for a second here. Icy, would you go ahead and roll a D10? And also, you have the privilege of coming into the game now as cleric, fighter, or rogue.
How do I join the roll 20?
Oh, I never got you a link. I am so sorry. I got lost in all of the excitement. Let me get you a link to that momentarily. Also, if there's any way, you were barely audible on that last exchange there. Are you far away from your mic? Can I get you to speak up a little bit?
Is that better?
Oh, that's perfect. That is crisp and clear. Thank you very much. All right. Icy, I got you an invite to the game. It's in your Discord DM. Meanwhile, Karini and Inel, it's worth noting that in the last 10 minutes, you've watched as your spell has indicated that the guild pieces of your members are now deactivating, their life force fleeing this world. Your teleportation beacon, precious minutes too late to save their lives. You are now left alone in the silence of the basement here underneath the temple of Yongqua.
Take my clay or whatever that I used to make the circle, just throw it on the ground and say, I was too late! Again. Everybody dies. And I wasn't there for them. I barely knew them, but...
Alright, and
Nobody
you
did it.
needed a d20 from me?
D10, sir. And also to choose rogue, fighter, or cleric.
I'm gonna claw the walls with my off glove. He just comes, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it.
I'll go fighter.
All right. Roll that D10, and I will find the fighter that you will be joining us as.
Just gonna take my hand and put it on your shoulder and just be like, "It's okay. We'll avenge them." And I'll say a quick prayer.
All right. The paladin swears an oath of vengeance. Oh, okay. All of those D10s just came in at once. There we go. So I'll take the first one up, which is 6. So that is going to get you into the game as... Let me shuffle over to my character inventory here. My pile of fighters. I'm going to roll on my end to randomize. And it looks like you will be joining us as one Bakrun Growl, a half-orc fighter.
That's what I like to hear.
All right, Kyle, let me get that into your... There we go. And let me double check to make sure that Bakrun is up to spec. Looks like we are level 4. There are the right number of hit points. You've got gold, you've got Zodiac, you've got your bonus starting item, and your side quest. So everything should be in order, but please let me know if you find any discrepancies. And welcome Bakrun Growl as the half-orc fighter teleports in from the crackling rift into the center of town. Now, there being a fair number of masons and workers here trying to seal up this hole actively. They are somewhat startled by the flashy arrival in the middle of the evening, the static of the teleportation kind of illuminating the twilight sky that is fairly darkened by the mists and fog. All right.
Can I go greet them?
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Muller, you will be rolling in as a random character because you've got the 5th seat. So go ahead and give me a D10, and I will see who you will be joining us as. All right, with that 8, and then having rolled to randomize, let me check this out here. It looks like you will be joining us as the Warlock, who is also, coincidentally enough, half-orc. That's funny. You will be joining us as Gale Warcrier. Let me get that into your... Oh, no. There we go. Let me get that into your journal, but welcome to the game, Gale Warcrier, as yet another half-orc warps into the center of town, as many of the passers-by stop to question if there's going to be yet another is this a thing? Are there half-orcs warping into the center of town now? The residents of Hope's Rise have to wonder, as it would not be the strangest thing that has occurred recently.
So, welcome, you two. I guess I'm the oldest member right now.
All right, indeed, you are. And I have still not heard back from Captain Revenant. I'm going to give him a moment. But the rest of the party, the 4 of you are there. You're welcome to begin interacting and plotting your revenge for your fallen comrades.
I'm gonna be frank with you. Some people that I liked died. I don't know why. I don't know how. I just know that I want to kill the thing that killed them. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
For sure, I'm with you too.
The
Thank
foul
you.
creature must be slain.
You can call me Inel.
All right.
I haven't read my character sheet yet, but I know it's going to be like this.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right. We are still waiting to hear back from Captain Revenant. I'm going to give him a couple more minutes, but I do not know if it is going to be able to make it under the line. We might have to do one more drawing. Party, you've got 10 minutes before we start to close down. You find yourselves in the early evening of Hope's Rise. The business in the town square is fairly still in full swing, as the night has yet to completely settle on the town, and everyone is trying to get their last bits of supplies or dinner or beds acquainted before they end up having to settle in for the night, knowing that it is much too dangerous to go romping about this town in the middle of the long hours with no armed accompaniment. These commoners are eager to scramble back to their local residences and places of business.
Can we work on the base a little? Just clean it up and see if we can. Well, I forgot the word. Get rid of the rubble.
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Can we get the map so we can see what we
I
have?
certainly will. I'm going to shift you over to the basement map. And then when this loads, I will... There we go. You should be able to join us now here in the center. And I'm going to have to get rid of those old tokens as they are no longer with us. Rest in power, everybody. Rest in power. But here we are now in the base of the basement of the Temple of Yonqua. You'll notice out to your left there is still the hallway that leads into the exposed sewer there. So despite the fact that there has been some effort done to clean this place up, it is still rather rank and terrible smelling.
Yep. So, the home. I'm going to start cleaning right here.
I'm going to start assessing our
Okay.
situation, making sure that the place is secure, and cleaning. I'm helping him clean too.
Got it. Go ahead and give me an athletics check to clean. If you're trying to fortify the area, I would take a survival check from you, Muller. Or, sorry, Bakram. Or no, wait, you're Gale. Oh, this is going to take a minute. All right, so with that survival of 6, you are going to, looking at the situation and kind of poking your head out into the corridor beyond and coming back, you don't see anything, you don't hear anything. You've got kind of this nice little narrow choke that all of your enemies would have to pass through, and the footing's really bad in this debris-strewn hallway here. So likely you're going to just, kind of post up at this entrance right here, but you're pretty fortified, you feel like, as you kind of move some of the stones around to maybe form like a waist-high barrier leading into this chamber. But past that, you feel pretty confident.
I feel pretty confident.
Thanks, because I don't.
Okay.
Do I roll something to clean?
Give me an athletics check to see how much you get accomplished.
All right.
Right, fighter. There we go. Looking for that.
And now I'm rolling good.
Yeah, and now watch, it'll just be nat 20s for the rest of the session. That if Jassir had that a moment ago, he might be alive right now. So that is going to be enough to begin clearing up some of the debris down here in this other room, and you're going to start revealing some of its interior. You find that this one is far more collapsed than the room that you were kind of clearing out before that led to the sewer hallway. So in this time, you are only able to really clear out the doorway and a little bit of the interior. It's going to take a lot of moving rock and dirt to get this up into functional shape. But
I have a question.
yeah,
Could we talk to the masons upstairs and try to sell the rocks that we have here?
that depends entirely on your ability to convince them that they need it.
All right. Is someone a good seller or
Yeah, someone.
a vendor or something? I'll take that as a no.
Everyone looks around.
Right, so I guess it's dinner time. Let's try to know each other, to know how to keep each other safe, and maybe don't die like the rest of them. I'm just grabbing dinner now.
I like that idea.
Okay.
Dinner or not dying?
Not dying and dinner.
Both.
Not dying and dinner. So
That's my new catchphrase.
yeah, not die. Well, it's like Netflix and chill in the fantasy Dungeons and Dragons realm. It's just not dying and dinner. So rather than draw for Captain Revenant, who it looks like is not here, and so I'm sorry, Captain, the rules state that you've got to be around when you're drawn, otherwise it doesn't qualify. Rather than take the last 5 minutes to try and find someone and get them in, I'm just going to do 2 drawings at the start. Well, I'll do a drawing for that seat at the starting of the next session. So that is going to leave us with about 5 minutes, and I'm getting a feeling that the party for the moment is going to hunker down and try and get just some baseline of food and shelter for the evening. And with only a couple minutes left, I think it's only appropriate that we give the Twitch chat ample time to debate and discuss who it will be that wins a precious stone this evening, as all 5 of our contestants who fell deserve it, and there is only one to award. So we have to nominate one of them. Players both in and out of the game, viewers in the Twitch chat. Oh man, we're getting. It looks like Jassir for sure. That is Jassir. That is going to. For the moment, I'm going to give it a second, but it looks like Jassir is pulling an early lead, and I understand the want to reward the Dragonborn, who is one of the longest living characters, I think second only to Erithil, and also now the closest to having entered into the dungeon itself. So,
I got 8 sessions in.
Jassir, with all of these votes, I'm gonna give it to Jassir. All right, so that means that Jassir, you will also be the first person to pick up a hat trick of stones so far, as this will be the 3rd one that you've won via. I think one of them you rolled for, but the 2 of them have been by community nomination. So I hope that is at least some form of parting gift for you, as you were unable to
definitely
take the quest. So close. You have your choice of either the dog tag of lapis lazuli or the what is kind of more of like a, I don't know what to call that shape, a lovely oval of the picture jasper. So which one would you like?
Trying to see. Yeah, is there a place I can see him? Or the
Oh, I just posted them onto the stream. They should be both in the chat history. Yeah, in the pins. But if they're not, I can make that happen real quick.
That Jasper is really interesting. I think I'll do the Jasper.
Okay. Sure enough. And
Jasper for Jasper.
Jasper for Jassier.
Jasper for Jassier. I like it. That is going to be on its way to you then soon, Jassier. And with that, I will wind us down for the evening. Our contestants have fought long and hard, and tonight was easily the most epic battle we've had up until this point. There were critical failures, critical successes, and most of all, what I think is really important is that there was so much that could have gone differently, that it really was up in the air for most of the session. The players had some good strategy and some luck at various points, but once the Naga was able to break that line of sight and get onto the other side of those obstacles, the party was unable to stick those crucial last shots and disrupt her from maybe having a moment to otherwise fix her wounds. So in the future, we will only see is how this might change their battle strategies, or what items they might bring to otherwise ruin that Naga's day in the form of barrels full of oil, or perhaps, blasting powder and glass, caltrops, spring-loaded axes, mercenaries, guillotines descending from the ceiling, all sorts of devious traps and extra goodies that they might be able to acquire both through diplomacy, thievery, or just flat-out buying the things that they need with the raw gold that they earn from their questing. All of these options and an infinite number more are available to our players to both try and overcome the challenge in front of them, as well as make their adventuring band that much more survivable in the future. So thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. We had a great game. I know I definitely enjoyed the tension all night. I will be in the patron tableside voice channel after this game in about 10 minutes to hang out with all the patrons of the show and talk about everything that happened tonight. I'm very excited to see you all afterwards. And to all of our fans and would-be contestants out there, if you filled out an application and I haven't gotten back to you, that is not because you are unable to play or that you've been disqualified. I please ask you to consider that there are so many things going on this side of Quest, in addition to having to manage my own life as it's kind of throwing some left and right punches here as we get into the depth of winter. So we will soon be getting back to everybody, updating the rule sets, adding more content, and as I will be discussing in the patron chat, I've got some pretty cool ideas for how we can do a community rotating storied game with both fans and patrons alike. So until next time, everybody, this has been the Guild of Mazes, and I've got just one question. So, you think you can quest? And here we reach the end of our tale. For now. Join us again next time as the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest.
Yeah, I got 20 reasons right here. I don't need like to be no edison. I'm holding 20s. I'm holding 20s. Had a drag a leash, try to break my stride. So choke the war axe right between his eyes. Been gaining on the dragon's ass since 2 days past. He terrorized the town, brought him to the ground. But I've been moving quick and fight that son of a bitch now. Cause every day I'm hustling. Just one possession chance brings every trap that's it. Oh, dungeon masters hate when I sit down